5 opinions. 5 fearless debates.
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me good there.
Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight. On the
Unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to...
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
And
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
I'm Bev Turner. Thank you for joining us on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. A new dawn in Gaza.
After nearly 2 years of torment, the conflict between Israel and Gaza ends as the hostages are finally reunited with their families.
Donald Trump has hailed it as a new chapter in history.
It took 3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up.
But the US president said he's only getting started as he sets his sight on peace in Ukraine next.
The Prime Minister's interaction with Trump at the peace summit in Egypt has gone viral.
Come here. Is everything going good?
Very good.
That's very nice that you're here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice.
More than a dozen European countries are backing the government's plan to reform the ECHR in the latest effort to stop illegal migration.
Have a look at that 4-year-old boy. His disappearance in the outback in Australia is gripping the whole country. We're going to be talking to a reporter who's been across the case since the very start.
The latest unemployment stats are released at 7 a.m, but with a rising number of jobless young people, is it time that the government took urgent action?
NASA has revealed plans to send astronauts to live on the moon. Find out how, where, 7:20.
By rocket on the moon. Is that the answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
In sport this morning, Northern Ireland and Wales both lost last night, leaving them uphill tasks to get to the World Cup with 2 games to go. England could qualify tonight, be the first European team to do that with a win over Latvia. But all the talks around the big names left out of the squad. And heading into the Ashes next month, Ian Botham says England's preparation borders on arrogance.
It's another grey start for many of us this morning, but there are some places that will benefit from cloud breaks and beautiful sunshine. Details on where and when in the forecast coming up soon.
Hello there, very good morning to you on this Tuesday morning. Thank you for your company, however you're watching, however you're listening. We're through to 9:30 this morning with you, and I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
You see, everybody was being very surprised today about, oh, we're going to live in the moon, we're going to live in the moon. Well, Paul, since the 70s, all the TV programmes, so the Captain Scarlets and everything else, were all about, well, they were living on Mars, that particular stage.
Were they?
Yeah,
I didn't know they were on Mars.
Well, that's where Captain Black was from. There was an accident.
He was from Mars?
Yeah. I
didn't know that.
The Mysterons are from Mars, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, the Mysterons from Mars.
Mysterons can see you, Earthmen.
Did you have the Airfix kit?
Yes.
Ellie,
Not familiar
in
with
the early 70s?
Yeah, no.
The Airfix models, they used to be the Apollo 11, wasn't it? And everybody had one of those. And then there was you get the little module. Do people make these anymore? Do kids do these anymore? I don't think they make Airfix kits anymore.
But you know what we had in those days? Not only did we have the kits, we had the imagination. And that's why I would never swap where I grew up. There was this thing about, right, you're going to fly to the moon, you're going to live in the moon. How would you get there? You'd use this kit. And you fill in the gap in between.
Right.
Use your imagination. That's why it seems very natural to me that people should be talking about living on the moon.
So would you go?
No.
Ellie, would you go?
I'm surprised you wouldn't.
Why would you not go? Look, unless it's like the Starship Enterprise and I'm like Captain Kirk on the bridge, I don't really... Why would I want to be up living...
You want to be doing this, more of this, and less of all this business. Yeah. You just want to be sitting there and... Yeah.
No, I wouldn't fancy it myself. Yeah. You can go up into space now because I think it's about £500,000. Have a flight.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Fancy that?
You know, not for the money.
I'd take a free flight.
Yeah, what, you would do that?
Yeah, for Richard Branson, if you're watching. I'd go for free. Would you go for free?
No, you can have mine there. Okay. Told you before. You wanted good.
Okay.
Anyway, the big news again today, Gaza, and has a new dawn broken over Gaza.
Yes, the last 20 surviving hostages were finally reunited with their families yesterday, ending 2 years in Hamas captivity.
In exchange, nearly 2,000 Palestinians were released under the historic peace accord.
And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity.
Well, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu echoed the same message.
Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. And together, Mr. President, we will achieve this peace.
Now, the newspapers this morning show emotional images, and they're over television as well, of the hostages reuniting with their families, including a woman who reunited with her boyfriend after those 2 years.
Israeli national security and Middle East researcher Or Issachar. Very good morning to you, Or.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Good to see you. What's the reaction to the homecoming of these 20 hostages being in Israel? I can't even imagine the joy that's being felt and the national unity that's being felt in Israel.
Absolutely. It was a day of celebration yesterday in Israel. Both President Trump visiting to sort of take a victory lap at his really remarkable accomplishment. And those hostages, after over 700 days in Hamas captivity, some of them have been held completely alone in the darkness in the tunnels of Gaza with absolutely no connection to the outside world, being tortured and starved. And now they're reunited with their families. And, you know, it was such an uplifting moment. And I wouldn't say any eye was left dry over here. And it just makes you realize, after over 2 years of war, the cost of looking the other way, how that terrible morning on October 7, Israel was caught, you know, off guard. And what should have been perhaps a surprise attack of a moderate scale has become really a regional war. And a lot will be told about that day. But I think over the past 2 years, Israel has accomplished a lot to reshape the security architecture of the region. And I suspect this is exactly what we're going to see in the coming days and weeks.
Can we talk about some of the reunions that we saw yesterday, and a particular reunion that's made most of the front pages here in Britain? And this is Noah Argamani, and she, well, became famous, didn't she? The footage from October the 7th, she was seized, wasn't she, taken on the back of a motorbike by Hamas fighters, by Hamas terrorists. She was reunited with her boyfriend yesterday, who was also taken by Hamas terrorists. Tell us a bit about their story, because it has captured the world.
It has captured the world, indeed. It was Noah and Avinatan, the couple that was abducted from the Nova Music Festival. I was on site, and it is extremely close to the Gaza Strip. They were just hanging out there, having a good time like any young couple would, alongside thousands of youngsters who, all of a sudden, early morning, Hamas terrorists penetrated deep into Israeli territory and took them captive. They were immediately separated, and of course you were shocked by these images of Noah abducted on that motorbike and her boyfriend escorted by foot. And now, after more than 2 years, they were reunited. Noah was rescued in that glorious operation in the central of the Gaza Strip. She was held by an Al Jazeera journalist and a doctor in an apartment. Or the IDF had precision intelligence and set her free. And he actually didn't see her, and he wasn't aware of that operation up until the moment of his release. She met President Trump in the Oval Office, and she became really an active voice, a vocal voice in the fight to bring him back home.
They were abducted, and the boyfriend was able to keep it secret, the fact that he was an Israeli Special Forces agent.
Right, he served in a special unit in the IDF, and what we can see and what his family members also said is that, well, he's a pretty strong guy, but the moment you are threatened at gunpoint by all these militants on the ground and terrorists, he had absolutely no choice but to come with them, and coming back so thin. In general, we saw all of these hostages coming back right around 40 kilos, and they were in such dire condition. We were always told about how much there is a mass spread starvation in the Gaza Strip.
But the point is, or that he would have been dead if that information had have got out. If anybody had have had a single whiff of what he did for a living, he wouldn't have been coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at that moment he made a decision to just go along with his captors. It was better not to put up a fight. But you know, it is just reflective of the mass disinformation going around, talking about mass starvation in Gaza, while these hostages, if you look at him, clearly a strong guy, and he came back thin, almost skeleton-like, while his captors were having nice meals. So this is absolutely shocking.
Well, there was so much joy yesterday in Israel and around the world, but also we need to talk about the agony, don't we, and that wait for the families who are still waiting for the bodies of their loved ones, the hostages that were killed in Gaza, and Hamas have only returned 4 bodies of the 28 dead hostages so far. Do they have the bodies? Do we know any detail of when they will be returned?
So at this moment, much remains undisclosed. As of today, Hamas has given 4 of the 28 bodies that it holds, and there is supposed to be an international force locating these bodies all around the Gaza Strip, including American, possibly American, but Turkish, Qatari, and other forces. And a lot remains, out in the mystery of how this is going to play out. I will say that in Israel, every person is an entire world, and every soul is, is important as an entire world. We all in Israel, everyone knows these names. Many of these hostages came back from captivity to the daylight after over 2 years in the darkness, and they were not even aware that all Israelis know their names. They've seen their families 1,000 times on air, and they became, out of no wish of their own, national heroes, in a sense.
Thank you, Or, for shedding so much light on what went on and helping to share in your happiness with all of that. Or Issachar is a researcher and national security and a Middle East researcher. Thank you very much indeed, my friend. Thank you very much. In the studio, Deputy Editor of Spiked Online, Fraser Myers. Now, OK, we talked about happiness there. We talked about the lives that were saved and whatever. But there's so much to do, Fraser. What happens next?
Well, yes. I mean, it is worth acknowledging what a big step this is. This is a really important step. It's a great, Donald Trump deserves credit. His team deserve credit for bringing people to the table and getting this far, getting this deal over the line and getting the hostages returned, something that many people might have thought was impossible. But you're right, there is so much that could potentially go wrong, whether it's in the negotiations, whether it's Hamas potentially not disarming. That is a big sticking point. And we've seen already, unfortunately, how Hamas have been trying to rebuild, reconstitute power. There have been executions in the streets of so-called people they accuse of collaborating with Israel. I think that could be a major sticking point. On the Israeli side, most people are on board with the deal, but there is an Israeli far right that is very much opposed to reconciliation. I think that would be less of a barrier than this. And then, of course, what does the future of Gaza look like? The governance of Gaza. We have this almost Tony Blair-inspired plan for a technocratic government. Who will play a role in that?
Well, that just won't happen overnight. And it has to happen. But you talked about things that went wrong there, and including just unveiling everything that had happened. We moved to Egypt now. We're going to show you this introduction of the UK Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, and it didn't go according to plan. Now, Fraser, talk us through the situation and what happened.
So we had Donald Trump essentially inviting, he says, where's the UK? And Keir Starmer is behind him. Keir Starmer comes up to the podium. They have a quick chat, but then Trump almost brushes him aside, has to force him back, tail behind his legs. I mean, there is a deep background to this where we can't see, there's been a row over the role that the UK has played in the peace negotiations. So the British government wants to take credit for bringing this along, but actually many people in the US administration, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, have said that the UK's recognition of Palestine actually delayed this moment of peace, delayed the release of the hostages. So it's a bit of an embarrassing moment. It seems to...
Well, let's see the embarrassing moment.
Come here. Is everything going good?
Very good.
That's very nice that you're here. These people all came in 20-minute notice.
Well, you see, you reckon Trump must have had 20 minutes notice from the speech because, nothing ever seems prepared with him.
It was awkward with Sir Keir Starmer, obviously. They got their wires crossed a bit there where it looked as though Sir Keir Starmer was being invited to speak. But there was also an awkward blunder with Emmanuel Macron. There was a bit of an awkward handshake between the two of them. It just seemed a little bit...
It also seems telling that, Macron and Starmer are some of the people that there was a lot of friction with. There were disagreements. And also I thought, if you notice, Giorgia Meloni's face was a bit of a picture in that she often slightly gives the game away with her facial expressions.
Mark Carney, President of Canada, yesterday, and he said thank you very much for the promotion. We've got to start off that, actually. Let's have a little listen to that.
Thanks. So you going back?
I'll go back. I'm glad you upgraded me to president.
Oh, did I say?
Great stuff. That's good. I started.
We said inside.
Great stuff. That was great.
On a serious note, though, what do you make of the UK's role in all of this? Because we saw, didn't we, Bridget Phillipson, the Education Secretary, talking at the weekend, saying that the UK played a key role behind the scenes in all of this, and she was described as delusional. Wasn't she? But then we had a Trump aide yesterday saying, no, the UK did play a vital role, and name-checking Jonathan Powell.
I suspect the later comment was a way of saving face, a way of regaining, you know, a bit of diplomacy. I think the UK has played, if anything, a negative role, but, you know, their recognition of Palestine actually really soured relations with the Israelis, so they've had no influence on that aspect of it. So, yeah, I think the UK hasn't helped here at all.
And now Donald Trump is turning his attention to Ukraine, and Volodymyr Zelensky is going to be visiting the White House. Do you think he can try and solve 2 wars in 1 week?
I think that, in many ways, this is a much... the conflict itself is less complex, but Russia is certainly a much more formidable foe than, say, Hamas. So this is going to be very difficult. I mean, I'm glad that, you know, we're trying to get this solved. Perhaps Trump's optimism is the thing that can push things through, that can make the impossible achievable. But he has still have a long way to go on this.
Fraser, for the moment, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for your take on things. Other stories coming into the newsroom on this Tuesday morning. The government has said the National Security Advisor, who we just featured there, Jonathan Powell, wasn't involved in the decision to drop charges against the Chinese spying trial. That's after pressure from Conservatives, including Kemi Badenoch, to address what she calls unanswered questions about the case.
More than a dozen European countries have backed the government's plans to reform the ECHR. They include France, Italy, Germany and the Netherlands. 16 countries are set to meet in Copenhagen later this month to discuss how changing the ECHR could help curb illegal migration.
The Prince and Princess of Wales are set to move into a new home, Forest Lodge, and they'll be doing that by Halloween or by Guy Fawkes night, actually. Builders have been working around the clock to help fast forward the family's moving date. It comes after reports that William and Kate are hoping their new home will provide a fresh start for their young family. The weather picture, let's see how it's going to shape up for the rest of the week. Ed McGivern.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you. It's a dull start for many of us, and that's the way it's likely to continue through the rest of the day, with high pressure in charge, but that high pressure trapping a lot of low cloud, even some drizzle and some mist. But it's not cloudy everywhere. There are some decent breaks for, say, parts of West Wales, the southwest, as well as central and western Scotland. In fact, that's where the lion's share of sunshine will be heading into the afternoon. The thickest cloud towards the east and the southeast, where there'll also be some drizzly showers from time to time. Temperatures under the thick cloud, 14 to 16 Celsius, but where we get some sunshine coming through, could get up to the high teens in places, for example, parts of western Scotland, although the north of Scotland subject to cloudier skies and some light showers from time to time, particularly for Shetland and Orkney. 11 Celsius as we end the day here. A lot of clear skies, though, remaining through the Highlands and to the Western Isles as well. Blue skies, beautiful afternoon and evening to come. But for much of the Midlands, the south and east of England, that's where the thickest cloud will remain. Some cloud break towards western fringes, and where we do get cloud breaks overnight, temperatures will fall into the mid or even low single figures, perhaps a touch of frost in places, even some mist and fog patches by dawn. But for many, we keep the cloud, and that cloud will continue to give some light showers, particularly through the North Sea coast and into the English Channel coast as we start off Wednesday. But Wednesday starts similar to Thursday, with a lot of low cloud around, that low cloud drifting somewhat aimlessly across the country. Some reasonable cloud breaks, some sunshine coming through in the south of England, South and West Wales and northern Scotland. But elsewhere, it's simply another cloudy day with temperatures a little bit lower compared with Tuesday, mid-teens for many of us.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
All right, will you have a look at that?
Right. The Great British Giveaway. Now, you know, absolutely, you've got to be involved in this. And here are all the details you need for a chance to make it yours.
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benimar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
That would change your life, but what sort of lives are we living? I've got to ask you to think about this. A story we're going to do 8:20 this morning. We're doing smacking. Smacking being made illegal in England. It's already illegal in Wales. It's already illegal in Scotland, but not in England or Northern Ireland, as I understand it. And now you've got people like Alan Shearer and Michael Caine. So Michael Caine saying, right, it shouldn't be done. Ban it. But look at this one. Here's a story. Potty parents, 6 out of 10 parents say it's okay for their children to start school in nappies. Yeah, they say they do not believe their children need to be toilet trained before starting school. Now, it is a teacher's job to teach your children to count and to go through the alphabet and whatever, but is it their job to change their pants?
No, it's definitely not.
Absolutely
I think that's the bare
not.
minimum that a child is ready for school. But it doesn't surprise me at all. One of my friends is a reception class teacher, and she says the amount of children that come into reception
Unprepared,
not potty trained, and it's going up year on year.
Yes.
They're not being.
Well, what sort of parents are you? And as you're setting out today and you're sending your kids to school, is it someone else's responsibility to clean their bottoms, or is it your responsibility to teach your child how to go to the toilet, how to do a wee, how to do whatever they're supposed to do? Let us know. Up next, we've got an amazing story. Tell us about that.
Yes, this is about the disappearance of a 4-year-old boy called Gus, and it is gripping Australia. He went missing in the outback at the end of September. We're going to find out what the latest police update is next.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Going to bring you now the case of a missing 4-year-old child, and this is absolutely gripping Australia. His name is Gus Lamont. He vanished on the 27th of September. He was at his grandparents' house, and this was in the outback of Australia.
Now, a lone footprint found 500 metres away is the only trace that was left behind. Well, let's get more details now from senior crime reporter Hannah Ford. Good to see you this morning, Hannah, and tell us more about this story because it has gripped Australia. We'll try and reconnect with Hannah. It looks like we're having technical issues. For now, at 28 minutes past 6, let's have a look now at our daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hi, I'm Mark. I'm a vicar in the Church of England. When I get to marry people, I also get to send them off with a message. And I always say the same thing to them, that they should work hard at love. To love means to put other people first, to see what others bring to a situation and to care for them above yourself. This is a humble love. It's a genuine love. To love like this takes great strength. And we need to look for a love that does just this. In Micah chapter 6, Micah says that God has shown you, O mortal, what is good. I believe that as I look to God, I can see how to love and how to put others first, to have that genuine, humble love, just as Jesus did as he died on the cross.
Let's go out and about in the roads. Let's find out what the traffic's doing, and we'll see right after this.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Due to overnight roadworks, the A90 is closed in both directions at Toll of Burness. Road users should approach cautiously and follow the signed diversion. The M48 currently has a 7.5-tonne weight restriction from May 27th, 2025 until further notice. On the M5 southbound, an abandoned vehicle at Junction 16's exit slip has led to the closure of one lane. Normal traffic conditions are anticipated between 7 o'clock and 7:15 this morning. And on the trains, London Overground services are not running between Cheshunt and Edmonton Green. Additionally, Northern buses are replacing trains between Corkicle and Whitehaven. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Look, we were trying to form a link to Australia there with senior crime reporter Hannah Ford. Fingers crossed it is ready. Hannah, there you are. Thank you. You look as if you're moving to me, which is good.
Yeah, that's good.
And Gus Lamont, this young 4-year-old, tell us more. He's disappeared without a trace.
Yeah,
That's right. It was more than 2 weeks ago now that this little boy was playing in a mound of dirt or some sand out the front of his parents' homestead, which is in an incredibly remote part of South Australia. His grandparents had gone inside, they came back out, and he has vanished, gone without a trace. A 7-day search was then launched. The only sign that police found of this little boy was one boot print, which was about 500 metres from the homestead. They sadly needed to wrap up that search, finding only that sign. And this morning we got news that they were launching a new one. And this search is being scaled up extensively. It's an exhaustive search now. We've got more than 100 soldiers that are on the ground here, police, SES volunteers. They're searching in helicopters. This is a new search and one that can hopefully find some answers for this family who are just devastated, beside themselves. It is baffling, and it's certainly a high-profile missing persons case that has gripped our nation.
We have a missing persons case with ourselves, with family, a young girl called Madeleine McCann, who many years ago went missing in Portugal. And people still talk about it, and we still try and theorise as to exactly what happened. Is there any hope, or what are the theories, what may have happened to young Gus?
And of course, that is the greatest fear that, sorry, there's a lot of flies here. That is the greatest fear, that no one will know what happened to little Gus. Where is he? I mean, we're driving around this property, and we have been for weeks, days now, just going, where are you? Where could you have possibly gone? There is just no sign, no trace. There are so many theories. Police have ruled out foul play. Well, when I say ruled out, they don't believe it is foul play unless they get new evidence. There has been a new task force launched to investigate this. It is being treated incredibly seriously. It's very rare, although we have in our Australian outback a lot of sheep stations, cattle stations, which is in vast remote landscape like this. The area they're searching here is 470 square kilometres, which is just massive. But it is rare for a child to go missing from one of these country remote areas. So there are a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. So hopefully this new search can bring something for this family.
And this is going viral in Australia, isn't it? People are speculating and theorising all over the internet.
Absolutely. This is going completely viral, and there are so many theories. Unfortunately, there's a lot of AI images that have popped up of this little boy with a man in a car and in other countries, and everyone's trying to decipher what's real, what's not real. Everyone's got their own opinion. Some people are speculating about wildlife out here. There is the very famous case with Azaria Chamberlain and the dingo that took her baby. But I'm told there aren't many dingoes on this property. There is wildlife, though. There is, large eagles, wombats, wild pigs. But saying that, it is incredibly rare for that to happen to a child, for them to be attacked by wildlife. This little boy lived out here. He knew this land. He grew up here. So there are still, yes, so many questions.
Well, Hannah, I hope you get the right answers for this, and I hope you keep us in the loop, because we would love to talk to you again and keep up to date as to where Gus is and if and when he's found, and we really do hope he is found. But Hannah, thank you very much for your time and your trouble today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Hannah. And how
absolutely no problem.
Thank you very much. And how awful for those parents having to deal with, on top of everything else and their child going missing, the misinformation online and AI images showing this child with a man somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's an image that doesn't turn out to be true.
Do you know what I watched last night? I watched President John F. Kennedy show people where his shooter actually was, not in the book depository, but on the grassy knoll and whatever. All AI generated. It was sick.
Yeah.
It really was sick. I just don't know. You won't be able to trust anything you see now from here on in. But
and it's good advice not to, actually, when you see things like that, when you see videos and pictures, just look elsewhere and double check it.
our thoughts and prayers with little Gus Lamont, and hope he turns up safe. We'll take a break there. England in football face Latvia tonight. They win that, they get through to the World Cup next year. All eyes are on the big names so far left out of the squad, and we've got Paul Coyte to put us in the picture right after this.
Welcome back to Britain's Newsroom with Andrew and Beth.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here.
I'm Michelle Duke, Britain's News Channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's News Channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
OK, let's look at the international qualifiers that were played last night, and here's Paul with those.
World Cup international qualifiers, Northern Ireland 0, Germany 1.
I know it was a defeat, but I think it's a very, very good result to get against Germany.
Well, the result isn't, because you don't want to lose, but the thing is they did pretty well. They really did. They oh, dear, hold on a minute.
You see, it always helps if you get a microphone and you
fell off.
You silly sausage.
It fell off and then landed in your pocket, well rolled up.
Yeah. He's back. He's back. There you go.
I wasn't making any sense what I'm saying anyway. It didn't make any sense. You didn't miss anything, really. So Northern Ireland 0, Germany 1, disallowed goal. I mean, they gave everything. The crowd was amazing.
Bad result, but good performance.
Yes, but the thing is, it's not over yet for Northern Ireland. 2 games to go. They've got Slovakia away. Luxembourg at home. Should beat Luxembourg at home. So still a possibility, getting in via playoffs. So now it all gets so complicated. You have playoffs now to get to the World Cup. If you end up second, there's a chance that you can still qualify to get there in the summer. You know, I tell you what I really liked.
What?
And it was nothing to do with the football. The national anthem. When they did the national anthem, they had this opera singer named Carly Paoli.
I know her.
Do you?
I know her father.
Do you?
Yeah.
She was very good.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said that. Yeah.
Well, would you pass it on to her dad?
She's going to be on our show in a couple of weeks' time, I think.
Yeah. She's not, is she?
She is come with Remembrance Day.
Well, you know what
Is she going to sing for us?
Well,
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. What she did though, she started doing the national anthem and she had the German scarf on. I'm thinking, this is at Windsor Park. What's all that about? So she did the German national anthem, and then she went like, whipped everything off, and then she was in full Northern Ireland kit.
Oh.
And then she did God Save the King. It was some performance.
Wow.
Very good.
And then she did the national, and then she did this afterwards. I'm thinking, OK, look, you're doing the national, don't over-egg it. But
no,
she was
she's a
very
girl,
good.
She's a girl that can do it all.
She was very
You're going
good.
to see more of her on GB News.
Oh, yeah, and then she played up front, and then she nearly scored as well. What are the chances?
Well, what are Wales's chance?
Wales, OK, they're in a similar position.
They lost to Belgium.
They did. They lost at home to Belgium 4-2. 2 handballs given away, which meant 2 penalties, which was really frustrating for Wales. But like Northern Ireland, they scored first. I would say Northern Ireland scored first. That was disallowed. But they did score first, and it looked good, and then Belgium came back. Belgium are not the side that they used to be, but Wales are currently 3rd, so they're behind Belgium and North Macedonia. They need to beat Liechtenstein, and they play North Macedonia at home, and if they win both of those, then they will go into the playoffs as well.
Now,
so hopefully they'll do it.
England are in a good position. Now tell us tonight, they've got Latvia.
Latvia tonight, and if they win tonight, they will qualify. First European team to qualify for the World Cup. You know what?
That should be fine, right?
Yeah, absolutely no problem. I mean, Latvia are like 100th and something in the world. It shouldn't be a problem. But the stadium is very windy.
Oh.
So I don't know whether the high ball's going to make a difference because it's very open. I don't know if we've got a picture of the stadium. It's a very, very open stadium. And they had kids that were last game that they had there, kids holding these banners. And then it was getting very, very windy, so they had to replace them with grown-ups to actually hold them because it's a very, very windy stadium.
Gosh.
OK, right. Well, we blew you off until the...
beg your pardon?
20 past 7. We'll blow you...
OK.
Blow you away.
Blow you away.
Blow you away.
Thank you very much.
Until 20 past 7. Thank you very much indeed. Still to come, 16 countries back plans to reform the European Court of Human Rights. So are we a step closer to curbing the migration crisis? We're back with that after this.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries, all sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Whilst the UK enjoys some settled, albeit cloudy weather this week, it's going to be increasingly wet on Wednesday in Sardinia and Corsica. Also some patchy rain moving into Madeira, 1 or 2 showers for the Canary Islands, but a lot of fine weather for Iberia at the moment, having seen this low move away. But that's the low bringing some very lively thunderstorms on Wednesday to Sardinia and Corsica, eventually moving through southern Italy into Greece as well, turning things unsettled later this week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
You're ready, you can just see it buzzing. The New Zealand-France game is going on, the bronze final in the stadium at the moment, and there's about 45,000 people already in the stadium watching it. So the energy in this place is unbelievable, and the excitement, because this game is a real game of jeopardy, the final between England and Canada.
And you've got caps galore, you've been involved in coaching men and women's rugby. So, and, you won in 1994. What's it like to be a winner?
Well, this is the shirt that I wore back in the day in 1994. This is my World Cup winning shirt, so I'm hoping it's going to bring a bit of luck to the girls. But it was an incredibly special time. But for me to see how the game has changed, we had 6,000 people watch us win that World Cup, and now women's sport in this country, it's our Lionesses, the Red Roses, the Cricket World Cup is the tickets are on sale for that next year, and people are choosing to watch women's sport and really, really enjoying the event. So it's fantastic, and the change over that 30-year span is quite remarkable.
What do you think has made the difference Why is it becoming, I mean, as you say, football is the same. Why is it becoming more acceptable now? And not just for women and girls to follow the sport as well, but so, I mean, I go to West Ham regularly for my sins, but so many men are now starting to pay a little bit of attention without being too sneery.
Well, absolutely. But I think the biggest thing is the quality of the product. Because the girls have been given contracts and are now able to train, not have to go to work and then leave a full day's work and come training and then do almost a second job in order to deliver on the skills. Both the Lionesses, the Roses, everybody now at the top end of the game is being financially rewarded for it, so they can actually concentrate on their sport.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, you didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
And joining us now to go through what's making the news, we've got former MP Anna Firth and former newspaper editor David Wooding. Very nice to see you both here.
Morning, you two.
And we moved from events in the Middle East and ending a war there to the Ukrainian war. Anna, what's Donald Trump been saying about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, Donald Trump is obviously completely buoyed up with his success, and you've got to hand it to him, haven't you? He has played a blinder, and in that wide-ranging speech that he made yesterday that went on for over an hour, he talked about he was going to solve the problems with Iran, and he was also talked about the Ukraine war. He's got a meeting with Zelensky coming up this Friday, and clearly Zelensky has seen that this is his opportunity, quite rightly, to get more support from Trump. Trump's in the mood to actually try and solve this problem, and he's talking about giving Zelensky Tomahawk missiles. These are
long-range missiles, yeah.
Exactly. These are long-range missiles that travel 1,500 miles and will go all the way from Ukraine into Russia and take out Russian energy bases and military installations. So this could be a game changer, for... And frankly, I have to say, I think Zelensky comes out of this extremely well. If you recall, it was last February that Trump completely humiliated him in the White House, and now it's come full circle. Trump is now listening to Zelensky because Putin obviously did not play ball.
It's really surprised me, David, that Zelensky hasn't brought more of the conflict into the Russian border, across there, be it from a guerrilla point of view or whatever, but until Russian people in Moscow and St. Petersburg know that there's something awful going on elsewhere in their name, what chance has he got of influencing
Absolutely. The Russian propaganda machine is telling them a completely different story from the facts, what's going on the ground. He has had a few incursions into Russia. There was that little moment there. And of course, Putin was absolutely furious about that and said it was not fair. They're not playing by the rules. And I suspect if they're given these missiles, it will change. Now, what I find astonishing is that people haven't taken to the streets over this dispute. We've had them marching every day, every week over Gaza, and they probably continue to march this weekend, even when now we've got peace. Why is nobody marching over Ukraine?
Good question.
That's a really good point, actually, considering we've actually got a lot of Ukrainians in the UK who came under hundreds of thousands who came under Homes for Ukraine. You would have thought they would be motivated, wouldn't you?
David, let's have a look in the Telegraph, shall we? And this is Prince Andrew email to Jeffrey Epstein. So this is 3 months after he told everybody he'd cut off contact with him.
This was a big revelation of the Sunday newspapers. And what are the repercussions, and will the King do anything about this? And everybody's so scared of Prince Andrew, of course, we will have a right of reply saying he didn't do anything, OK? But in the meantime, the papers make out that he may well have done something, and that is kept relations relationship alive with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, it's all about the dates of when he broke off his relationship with Epstein, and it seems from these emails that he was pally and working as one with him.
We're in
long
this
after,
together.
Yeah, we're in this together. What this article in the Daily Telegraph says is that the King is now running out of options how to freeze him out of the royal family. The main thing he can do is kick him out of the grace and favour home he has. I think
he can't do that because he signed a lease on that.
And it's till 2073, so he can't do that.
Right.
So him and Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, are in there till they die, effectively, and they've said they're not welcome at Sandringham for the Christmas dinner and the royal celebrations. So he's frozen him out, but he's hanging around like a bad smell, I'm afraid.
How do you solve a problem like Andrew?
Yeah.
Like Andrew. I mean, they're both in this, aren't they? Really. We had those revelations, didn't we, only a few weeks ago with the Duchess of York also having this ongoing communication with Epstein. I mean, it's squalid, isn't it? But basically, I think that the King should just ignore him. Let's stop talking about him. Let's stop giving him. Look at these.
Can the public ignore him? Does it not annoy the public if he turns up at certain things?
And he's so front and centre, isn't he?
But that's why I think that the King should just freeze him out and ignore him. Because if he's not in the public eye, the media can't be taking photos of him, and then we wouldn't be talking about him.
But he turned up at the Duke of Kent's, Duchess of Kent, the funeral the other week.
And this is the problem, isn't it? Because he stood on the front of the steps. He stood actually next to Prince William, the Prince of Wales, and was talking to him. And the optics of that, it makes it very, very difficult for Prince William, for the King.
But he has a big sense of entitlement. Have you ever met him, David?
Big what, sorry?
He's a big sense.
I've not met him. No,
have you met him, Anna?
No.
Am I the only one that mixes with the royals?
Yeah.
Am I?
No. Well, no, I've met the King.
And how did you find him, Eamonn?
I found him arrogant. I found him... he was very like his father, who was quite blunt and whatever about things, but the father had a sense of humour. Andrew doesn't have a sense of humour, really, with
and that goes right back to him as a child, doesn't it? The stories always were that he was the favourite son and he could turn up and, the sort of... everything was done for him, the red carpet
He was
rolled
quite
out.
popular as a younger royal, wasn't he? I seem to remember. Very popular.
Handsome.
Dashing man, yeah.
The Falklands, whatever. In 1 minute, Anna, can you tell us about this European Court of Human Rights reform and who is backing it?
Yeah, so this is the government are trying to put out a story here, basically that they've got support of 16 countries to reform the ECHR. This has been tried many times before. The court is not for reform. The only way to deal with this is for us to leave the ECHR, which is what the Tories have now been talking about.
OK. Anna, David, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you in about 45 minutes' time. GB News has contacted the Duke of York's team for comment on the allegations regarding Jeffrey Epstein, but are yet to hear back. But Prince Andrew, as you know, has previously denied any wrongdoing. Do stay with us. We're going to be going through many of the top stories in about 5 minutes' time. Do let us know what you think on any of the stories we're discussing as well. gbnews.com/your say. Now let's get a check on the weather, shall we, with Aidan McGibbon, because it's been lovely and sunny so far this week. Let's hope it continues.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you. It's a dull start for many of us, and that's the way it's likely to continue through the rest of the day, with high pressure in charge, but that high pressure trapping a lot of low cloud, even some drizzle and some mist. But it's not cloudy everywhere. There are some decent breaks for, say, parts of West Wales, the southwest, as well as central and western Scotland. In fact, that's where the lion's share of sunshine will be heading into the afternoon. The thickest cloud towards the east and the southeast, where there'll also be some drizzly showers from time to time. Temperatures under the thick cloud, 14 to 16 Celsius, but where we get some sunshine coming through, could get up to the high teens in places, for example, parts of western Scotland, although the north of Scotland subject to cloudier skies and some light showers from time to time, particularly for Shetland and Orkney. 11 Celsius as we end the day here. A lot of clear skies, though, remaining through the Highlands and to the Western Isles as well. blue skies, beautiful afternoon and evening to come. But for much of the Midlands, the south and east of England, that's where the thickest cloud will remain. Some cloud breaks towards western fringes, and where we do get cloud breaks overnight, temperatures will fall into the mid or even low single figures, perhaps a touch of frost in places, even some mist and fog patches by dawn. But for many, we keep the cloud, and that cloud will continue to give some light showers, particularly through the North Sea coast and into the English Channel coast as we start off Wednesday. But Wednesday starts similar to Thursday with a lot of low cloud around, that low cloud drifting somewhat aimlessly across the country. Some reasonable cloud breaks, some sunshine coming through in the south of England, south and west Wales and northern Scotland. But elsewhere, it's simply another cloudy day with temperatures a little bit lower compared with Tuesday, mid-teens for many of us.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Overnight roadworks are closing roads on the A90 at Toll of Burness. Motorists should follow signed diversions. Heavy goods vehicles note a 7.5 tonnes weight limit on the M48, effective from May 27, 2025. A collision on the A19 southbound between the A67 and A172 in Stockton-on-Tees has led to one-lane closure. In Bedford, congestion persists on the A1 southbound between the A428 and A421 junction, causing half-hour delays. And on the trains, Northern has buses replacing services between Corkickle and Whitehaven. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
There's just 3 weeks left to see how you could be our biggest winner this year. First, you could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primera motorhome. This luxury vehicle comfortably sleeps 4, has its own fitted kitchen and bathroom areas, and comes complete with fitted awning and bicycle rack. And that's not all, as we'll also give you a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. A new dawn in Gaza.
After 2 years of torment, the conflict between Israel and Gaza has ended as the hostages are finally reunited with their families.
As Donald Trump hails a new chapter in history.
It took 3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up.
And not only will it hold up, according to Trump, but he says he's only getting started. as he sets his sights on peace in Ukraine next.
The Prime Minister's interaction with President Trump at the Peace Summit in Egypt has gone viral.
We're come there. Is everything going good?
Very good.
That's very nice of you here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice.
More than a dozen European countries are backing the government's plan to reform the ECHR in the latest effort to stop illegal migration.
The latest unemployment stats are going to be released any minute, but with a rising number of jobless young people, we're asking, is it time that the government took urgent action?
And smacking, where do you stand on that? We're debating the issue. Should children be smacked? Big names like Sir Michael Caine and Alan Shearer are leading a campaign urging the Prime Minister to ban it in England. It is already banned in Scotland and Wales.
NASA has revealed plans to send astronauts to live on the moon. We're going to find out more in about 20 minutes' time.
And sport this morning, Northern Ireland and Wales both lost last night, leaving them fairly uphill tasks to get to the World Cup with 2 games to go. England could qualify tonight with a win in windy Latvia, and heading into the Ashes next month, Sir Ian Botham says that England's preparation borders on arrogance.
It's another grey start for many of us this morning, but there are some places that will benefit from cloud breaks and beautiful sunshine. Details on where and when in the forecast coming up soon.
2 minutes past 7. A very good morning to you. Thank you for your company. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Now, the blood service at the NHS are desperately looking for new people to donate blood, and they've come up with a new idea, which I actually think is quite a good one.
Yeah.
Basically, when you apply for a driving licence when you're 17, they're going to ask you, would you also be happy to undergo, be a blood donor?
Right.
As well. So hopefully they're going to get loads of sign-ups of young people who are like, yeah, sure, I can donate blood.
You know what? I've never done it, and I will be first in the queue. I'm happy to do it. It's one of those things I've just never done, and I feel bad that I've never done it.
Well, you think you can't do without it, and then you give it. And I remember thinking, I immediately feel weak on this. I don't know if I did or not, but you just have to drink plenty of water and things afterwards.
Yeah.
The body replenishes it. You know, we talk about AI. I sort of wonder why artificial intelligence just can't make blood.
Fair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future it can. But they've got a problem on their hands because apparently half of people who regularly give blood are over 45. So they've got barely any young people who are giving blood.
But there used to be
campaigns. Is there a difference between young blood and old blood?
I don't know. We'd have to ask.
But there used to be campaigns years ago.
Yes.
And you sit there and have a cup of tea and do that. They don't really do that anymore, so maybe that's what
Paul,
it is.
I say this before. Television used to be a legal obligation that they had to show public information films about litter, about giving blood, about all sorts of things. Now TV's about making money, just making money.
Right.
And there should be a public service part of all of that, whereby you say to people, this is your duty as a citizen to do this.
Well, maybe this is for us to do. It's not a preaching thing, but to say that go and give blood because it's a decent thing to do.
We should tell people are stupid. You got to understand, people are stupid. It's like I would never throw any wrappers out of my car, any waste or any rubbish like that.
Yeah.
But look at. The streets are full of litter, full of rubbish from people who never saw those adverts that said...
Charlie says...
Pick it up.
Yes.
The lions in Trafalgar Square. They used to talk...
Yes.
Pick it up, pick it up,
Oh,
pick it
yeah,
up, pick it up. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, no. But
What did you say oh yeah for?
She was singing along.
I thought it was catchy. But I think this is quite a good idea. To ask people when they're applying for their driving licence, and I think we should give blood. Maybe
Have you done it?
I haven't. I'd be up for it though.
Because there are some people that have got this real needle thing, haven't they? And they're just thinking, I couldn't do that, I wouldn't, whatever. But you know what? It's such an important thing to do, and I feel really bad that I've never done it. I should have done it by now.
I'm giving blood tonight.
Are you?
Now you're showing off.
That's not strictly true. It's been taken from me.
So, what do you mean?
Against your will, or you're going along voluntarily?
I didn't volunteer. I'd go along tonight and have it taken, and then they analyse it under a microscope.
Okay. And is it the full-on thing, or just a little...
No, it's a full-on thing.
Yeah, not just a little finger prick thing going on there. Yeah.
So if I'm not in tomorrow...
I'll know why.
Okay. Oh, I feel a bit funny. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll keep a close eye on you.
You know me
Do you want me to come along with you just to hold your hand?
Hold my hand.
Okay, that's no problem. That's what I'm there for.
Well, let us know if you give blood. If you'd like to give blood, gbnews.com/you'll say.
And get those adverts back on TV again.
Yes.
That's what we think. As a new dawn broken over Gaza, the last 20 surviving hostages were finally reunited with their families yesterday, ending 2 years in Hamas captivity.
Well, in exchange, nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees were released under President Trump's historic peace accord.
And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity.
The message was echoed by the Israeli Prime Minister.
Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. And together, Mr. President, we will achieve this peace.
There have been emotional images and footage of hostages reuniting with their families, including a woman who was reunited with her boyfriend after 2 years.
So emotional. Here to discuss that, Fraser Myers joins us in the studio. Fraser's deputy editor of Spiked Online. And, you know, that couple there was incredible. They were on this, they were at the concert, they were kidnapped, they were taken away on motorbikes. It was just awful, awful to watch. And Ellie was showing me today, and we were talking that from his point of view, he was an Israeli Special Forces soldier. Now, if they had have known Matt, he would not have been back. He would not be hugging her like yesterday. He would have been dead.
Yeah, and you know, it's amazing that people have shown this amount of resilience, and unfortunately, not everyone has returned. There are many people who died in captivity, tragically, and there are so many stories like that. There are, you know, twin brothers reunited. It's also pleased to see the return of Ayatar David. People may have seen the pictures of him emaciated, being forced to dig his own grave. So, you know, we've had 2 years of depravity, but some really, really good news. And not just good news for the Israelis who are welcoming the hostages home, but also for the people of Gaza who have some respite from the bombardment. So this is really a great day for humanity, a great day for all sides, I think.
Yeah, and still, though, many loose ends remain, don't they, Fraser? I mean, the agony going on for families who are waiting for the bodies of their loved ones. Those, I think it's 28 hostages or so, that they're still waiting for the bodies. Only 4 been returned so far.
Absolutely, and it's not clear whether does Hamas have the bodies and is not returning them. We'd seen previously in hostage exchanges, the wrong bodies had deliberately been given back, adding to the absolute agony of those families. But it may also be the case that they're simply lost under the rubble in Gaza as well.
Fraser, I think that's it. I mean, when you look at it, it sounds as if somehow people are killed and they're going to be stored in a warehouse. It's not going to be like that at all. They're buried in these underground. I mean, they've been hit with Israeli airstrikes and whatever, and have killed a lot of their own people. We'll be very, very lucky, I think, to get any more bodies.
Yes, but hopefully, you know, hopefully there will be more that are returned. But you know, finding all of them is probably unlikely. This aspect of it is allowed for in the peace plan, so it won't derail the peace plan if all of the bodies aren't returned. Thankfully, we're currently, you know, in phase 1. It's an amazing achievement to get all of the hostages back. Trump and his team deserve credit for that, especially for bringing the Arab countries on board. Them are putting pressure on Hamas to release the hostages. But there are many sticking points ahead. Hamas have said, you know, they don't want to disarm fully, and we've seen just by their actions, they've been rounding up people for executions, accusing people in Gaza of collaborating with Israel. That could be potentially the next sticking point. It's a long way to go to have the lasting peace, to have the millennia of peace that Donald Trump is talking about. But certainly, this is such a good start and such a joyful occasion.
And Fraser, what about Britain's role in all of this? Because we heard Bridget Phillipson, the Education Secretary, talking about Britain having a key role behind the scenes, and she was described as being delusional. And then we had this very awkward exchange yesterday, didn't we, between Sir Keir Starmer and President Trump. Let's have a look at that clip.
Come here. Is everything going good?
Very good.
It's very nice that you're here. These people all came in like 20-minute notice.
What happened there, Fraser? Looked a bit...
So it looks as if Trump asks, where's the UK? And Starmer comes up as if he's being invited to speak, and then Trump sort of turns his back on him. I don't know whether that... I don't know whether we can read too much into the body language, but if we were to maybe overanalyse it, we'd say that perhaps the Americans don't think that the UK has played a very positive role in this outcome. Bridget Phillipson says the UK was key. She's been called delusional. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, said that actually the UK, Canada and France's recognition of Palestine set back the negotiations because it gave what was felt to be a diplomatic boost to Hamas. Now, we've since had Steve Witkoff, Trump's lead negotiator, walk that back quite significantly, name-check Jonathan Powell, specifically the National Security Advisor, the embattled National Security Advisor, who's currently embroiled in this China spy scandal.
And in that sense, do you think it was an intentional name-check?
I think so. I think the British Foreign Office has asked him or asked the Americans to say a nice word about poor Mr. Powell while he wriggles and worms out of this China spy case.
What about Britain's role going forward in terms of aid? We had that announcement, didn't we, about more aid for Gaza this week. I mean, this rebuilding Gaza is going to take decades, surely.
Absolutely. I mean, Trump has said that the majority of the rebuilding will be done by the very wealthy Arab states, how he described them. There's also the security aspect as well. There have certain states have expressed an interest, like Turkey, Indonesia and Egypt have said that they will commit troops. Again, another debate will be the role of Israel. The current peace plan envisages that Israel might play a role if that sort of international coalition force can't keep control of Gaza, and if Hamas is resurgent as well, is the other factor.
OK, just cutting across, Fraser, the Office for National Statistics just released the latest unemployment figures, so this is breaking for us this morning. 4.7% it was last year, it rose to 4.8% in the 3 months to August, OK? So 4.7 in the 3 months to July, so practically no change there, but still a high figure unemployment-wise.
It is a high figure, and also it's worth remembering that that doesn't capture the full scale of unemployment. The amount of people who are fit, who are young, who are of the working age population, who are languishing on benefits. Many of those are not captured in the unemployment figures if they're claiming personal independence payments, for instance. And that is one of the key challenges that this government and future governments are going to have, of getting people who really should be in work, particularly people with, I would say, low-level mental health problems like anxiety and depression. Those kinds of people need to be working. It's good for them, it's good for the country to get them back into work. So, yeah, 4.7% is too high on its own terms, but also doesn't capture the full scale of the problem we have.
If you could choose something, when we think of our own lives, and you had to do it again, very frightening time trying to get a job, thinking about what to do. And if we weren't doing what we were doing, I would be working in a bar. I think that's what I'd be doing, which is sort of like what I'm doing. I could be a teacher as well, but working in a bar is sort of what I was trained to do, and it's in a way what I do, because you just talk, Fraser, how are you? How are things? And you end up, and that really sort of broke down. It gave me a sort of personality and taught me to talk to people in the bar, and people skills and sort of things. So what do you think you would do in the real world?
If I didn't have this job, I'd probably want to work in fashion or be a florist. Something creative.
Florist, isn't it?
Yeah, I think flowers are stunning and they smell nice. Fraser, what would you do?
I don't know.
You're very good at what you do. I don't think you can do anything else.
I did work in bars. You know, my first job was at Disneyland.
Was it?
Yeah, that was exciting.
What were you doing in Disneyland?
I was actually serving in the bars, not as a character, unfortunately.
I was about to say,
I was going to ask for pictures.
Yeah.
Very good, Fraser. Thanks very much indeed. We'll see you again later on. 7:15 is the time. Other stories coming into the newsroom. This is what we've got for you.
The government has said that the National Security Advisor, Jonathan Powell, was not involved in the decision to drop charges against two men who are accused of spying for Russia, as after prosecutors unexpectedly dropped charges against Christopher Cash and Christopher Berry last month.
More than a dozen European countries have backed the government's plans to reform the European Court of Human Rights in a bid to reduce illegal migration. Included are France, Italy, Germany and the Netherlands.
The Prince and Princess of Wales are set to move into a new home, Forest Lodge, which is in Windsor Great Park. William and Catherine, alongside their children, George, Charlotte and Louis, are expected to officially move in by Guy Fawkes night.
I wonder how many houses there are in Windsor Great Park. It must be a great park.
Oh, it is great.
To have all that.
It is great.
They move, they're in like one house there and they say, and Andrew's a neighbour and
Yes.
Fergie's a neighbour there. And
there's lots of royal residences
Yeah.
in Windsor Great Park.
And so
Huge.
they say there's one there. I wonder, did they boot somebody out of that house, or was it just lying empty?
We should find out.
Or what's there?
But there
then
are
you
lots
have,
of properties.
You have deer running past your front door. Whatever.
It's a gorgeous part of the world. And the security
Too many tourists.
You don't see the tourists. You're so far back. The security operation is so huge, you can't get anywhere near the houses. In fact, some of the dog walkers were getting quite annoyed recently because of Catherine and William's house and the security operations around it, that they can't do their normal route with the dogs. But you can understand why.
But it's a nice time of the year to move. I mean, they could be in for, the autumn and ready for Christmas, everything, all be okay. So we wish them well. It's always exciting times moving into a new house.
And a fresh start as well after a really difficult year last year. So best of luck to all of them.
Fresh is a good word. I wonder, is that something we could describe the weather with? Good morning, Aidan McGivern. What's it going to be like out there?
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you. It's a dull start for many of us, and that's the way it's likely to continue through the rest of the day, with high pressure in charge, but that high pressure trapping a lot of low cloud, even some drizzle and some mist. But it's not cloudy everywhere. There are some decent breaks for, say, parts of West Wales, the southwest, as well as central and western Scotland. In fact, that's where the lion's share of sunshine will be heading into the afternoon. The thickest cloud towards the east and the southeast, where there'll also be some drizzly showers from time to time. Temperatures under the thick cloud, 14 to 16 Celsius, but where we get some sunshine coming through, could get up to the high teens in places, for example, parts of western Scotland, although the north of Scotland subject to cloudier skies and some light showers from time to time, particularly for Shetland and Orkney. 11 Celsius as we end the day here. A lot of clear skies though remaining through the Highlands and to the Western Isles as well. Blue skies, beautiful afternoon and evening to come. But for much of the Midlands, the south and east of England, that's where the thickest cloud will remain. Some cloud breaks towards western fringes, and where we do get cloud breaks overnight, temperatures will fall into the mid or even low single figures, perhaps a touch of frost in places, even some mist and fog patches by dawn. But for many, we keep the cloud, and that cloud will continue to give some light showers, particularly through the North Sea coast and into the English Channel coast as we start off Wednesday. But Wednesday starts similar to Thursday, with a lot of low cloud around, that low cloud drifting somewhat aimlessly across the country. Some reasonable cloud breaks, some sunshine coming through in the south of England, south and west Wales and northern Scotland. But elsewhere, it's simply another cloudy day with temperatures a little bit lower compared with Tuesday, mid-teens for many of us.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
We're just talking about our favourite dinners. I don't even know why we got onto that.
Sausage and mash.
Oh, that's a good comfort food. Lots of gravy.
Onions.
Onions.
Mustard.
No,
English.
now you've lost me there.
Do you know what I can't stand?
What can't you stand?
That French muck. Mustard, I mean, you want mustard like good Coleman's mustard. You want English mustard. You don't want French mustard.
What's the French mustard called?
Or American mustard.
Dijon mustard. No, I quite like a Dijon mustard. Actually, through macaroni cheese, if you make a macaroni cheese, a nice spoonful of French mustard through that. Dijon mustard. Lovely. Just gives it a bit of a perk up, you know. I am a cook. And I've been very upset because we're having our kitchen done at home. I've been without a kitchen for 1 month. 1 month.
And are you having me round to christen it?
I was about to say I could have you round for sausage and mash and lots of gravy. I'm just so excited to make a cup of tea with a kettle. And milk and a teaspoon and be able to make my own cup of tea again. It'll be so nice.
Well, there you are. The things to
go.
look forward to. And you could look forward to the Great British Giveaway. It's absolutely magnificent. And what you'll want are the details you need for a chance to make it yours. Here they are.
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British Giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benimar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
We were talking about royal residences 5 minutes ago in Great Windsor Park. So we're asking you next, do you fancy living on the moon?
No, thank you. Neither do you, actually.
No. NASA is sending astronauts to see if it can be done. They think it can be done. We're talking about that next.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I
got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
We have a very interesting guy in the studio called Will Whitehorn, who's a space expert. And the reason we've got Will in is that NASA have plans to send astronauts to live on the moon. And
it's not how you think, though, is it? It's inside glass bubbles that are going to be made from lunar dust.
OK.
Not in houses.
The American Space Agency is funding research to see if it is possible. And let's get Will, who does believe it's possible. And will you be going, Will?
Well, not to the moon, obviously.
No.
That's going to be a bit expensive. But and I think NASA will be sending astronauts who probably had to train for several years. But I do intend to go to space in the next couple of years, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So how's it going to work? So NASA's unveiling this plan to send astronauts to live on the moon, living in glass bubbles.
Yeah, made of basically moon dust. So there's a huge amount of silica and other similar materials on the moon. And basically using a microwave process, like a microwave oven, of a very sophisticated type, they're going to be able to meld those and construct, and also using 3D, technology, they'll also be able to construct the interiors on the moon. Now, that's because rocketry is expensive, so it'd be very expensive to take them up.
So it's not that you fill a big space container and bring it to the moon full of this stuff and then assemble it there. You're actually going to fabricate it, make it on the lunar surface.
That's one of NASA's plans. So the first mission going back shortly, in which Elon Musk will be involved with the new Starship rocket that you've probably seen. The Starship is the biggest rocket ever built in human history. And that's going to be able to also go to Mars. But it's also going to be able to carry industrial material to space.
Right. Well, here's what I've got to ask you.
Yes.
Why all this interest now? What's all this? I mean, suddenly there's wars going on around the world. The world's never been worse and whatever, and we're all concentrating on that. And then suddenly we hear, but we're thinking of going to the moon, or we're thinking of going to Mars. What's brought all this about?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head as to the reason. It's wars and climate change and Earth observation, and the revolution that's happened in the industrialisation of space. So I spoke to you a couple of years ago. There were half as many satellites in space as there are now.
Yeah.
A few more years before that, I spoke to you, there were about 600. Now there's heading to 30,000. We're going to have 100,000 satellites up by 2027. Mm. The company I run, Seraphim, has invested in 32 space companies. And they're mostly booming. We've got one called ICEYE, for example, which has been crucial to the Ukrainians in the war. It spotted that the Russians were killing people north of Kiev through the darkness and the cloud because it has radar-based satellites that can see through all that. These are revolutionary new satellite systems that can see what's happening on the Earth. They can spot if a factory chimney in Vietnam is pumping out CFCs. We can now tell if the corner of a field in Brazil has an infection, and the insurance company uses the satellite to tell the farmer they've got to fix that problem because they won't pay for the whole crop to be saved unless they can save that corner of the field. That's how good satellites have become. You've also got companies in America like AST Space Mobile. They have now developed a system with our own ordinary mobile phones from next year. We're going to be able to use them as satellite phones anywhere in the world for a small extra premium, just as they are today, with just new software using satellites. You see, this is a revolution.
Yeah, an industrial revolution in space.
Yeah.
What do you make of the space tourism that's going on at the moment, and being able to go up and take a flight into space?
That's been part of the whole development of new space, because a lot of these tourist applications are also new science and industrial applications. The spaceships can do more than one thing. Jeff Bezos has been developing his tourist ship, but that's led him to develop his ships that can carry satellites into space. Elon Musk originally had some tourist ambitions, but basically what he's ended up being is the world's cheapest satellite launch company. So SpaceX can launch a satellite for 90% less money. So it's a bit like exactly 200 years ago, last week, the Stockton to Darlington Railway started.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. That was an industrial revolution.
A revolution, yeah.
And nobody knew it on the day.
Yeah.
In fact, people complained.
How it would change the world.
Yeah, in fact, the newspapers complained that people would die from lack of oxygen going on the trains.
Yeah.
Had doctors quoted. But within 10 years, it was a full-scale revolution, and we had railways all over Britain.
And look how let that decline.
And the same's happening in space right now. The Industrial Revolution has begun. And NASA going to the moon is part of the consequence of that, in a way, because Elon Musk's rockets and similar new technologies have given them the chance to go back and carry much more equipment up there and mine the moon for helium-3.
Mine the moon. There you are. That's a whole other story as to motivation and how people can make money out of it and whatever. I mean, will we destroy the moon the way we've destroyed planet Earth? But what I was going to say was that a lot of people see this as all pie in the sky and it's all, oh, they're going to live in the moon, whatever, how impossible is that? But ever since I was a young child, and that was all during the Apollo missions, all my toys, my dinky toys, of course I had a balloon attached to a lunar module, which was a fan.
So did I.
Did you? Yeah. I wish I knew what it was called. Yeah, and it would land on this lunar surface and whatever. And my Action Man was an astronaut in silver and whatever. And I had the Airfix Saturn V model and all these things. But so I see it as possible. It's totally feasible in my mind, totally feasible as to how it would be done. I mean, I presume it is in your mind as well. A lot of people say, oh, they could do this, but you think they will do this?
They're doing it.
Yeah.
We could, technologically, we could have done this a long time ago, but what happened was basically, as NASA was really getting going and the moon landing has happened, it coincided with the Vietnam War going on a lot longer than anyone thought, and the Arab oil crisis.
Yeah.
So suddenly, we had the US dollar going into free fall, we had the price of oil going through the roof, and they couldn't afford having paid for the Vietnam War, and we got the massive inflation of the 1970s.
Yeah.
And that killed the moon landings, and it killed investment in NASA.
Yeah.
And that has set it back a long way. But then a lot of the people who were working in those organisations like NASA and ESA at that time and the fledgling British space business of the time and government business, they went into the private sector and developed all the new satellite companies like Surrey Small Satellites, like the one I work with, Clyde Space. And that's led to companies like I've got now investing in space. I mean, we've got a space investment company on the UK stock market that's doing really well.
Yeah.
I mean, Britain's a big success story in this
we
as
need
well.
to hear about this. We need, you know, they talk about, I mean, the government talk about increasing businesses and profit and ideas, and we need to know that that stuff exists. We really do.
You know, we've got 60,000 people in Britain now working in the space industry.
No, we didn't know that.
And our exports last year were about 4 billion. So it's a hugely growing industry and very rapid.
Well, put a time scale on this for me. Just try to envisage, when are we going to see things different? When could we possibly see one of these buildings on the moon?
I think by 2033. And I think that it will likely happen because the moon has helium-3 on it, which could be the safe way to produce nuclear power on Earth.
Oh, brilliant.
Gosh.
And helium-3 can only be got on the moon. And I think that the other thing that you will see happening is solar power from space within 10 years. And a British company is one of the lead companies in that, called Space Solar in Oxford, who've got some government money, luckily, now, and need to raise more private money. There'll be server farms. So currently data centres, as you know, are becoming a huge user of electricity and soaking up electricity.
Who will own the moon? Who will own it?
We will who will own the moon?
Yeah. Well, the Russians go up and say it's ours, or the Chinese say it's ours.
The moon is officially not owned by anyone. When it was claimed for all mankind, there is a treaty, but they're all going to start staking. The Chinese have already been around the dark side. They've planted a flag and put some instruments. Everyone's going to start staking. The Chinese are going back to the moon. India wants to go to the moon, and it is going...
Another space race.
The new space race,
maybe we'll settle for Mars.
Because of cheap technology, the new space race is happening now.
OK, well, fascinating.
We can talk to you all morning.
I wish we had more time to talk to you, but we've other things to do, I'm afraid.
Thank you.
And good luck to you, Will. Good luck with everything that's ahead.
Come back and see us.
I will.
on the lunar surface.
Oh, somewhere. Live long and prosper.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Do stay with us, still to come. As England face Latvia tonight to qualify for next year's World Cup, all eyes are on the big names who are left out of the squad. Paul Coyte's going to be here with that and much more next.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Currently, due to overnight planned maintenance, the A90 is closed in both directions at Toll of Burness. Drivers should follow the signed diversion route and proceed with caution. On the M4 eastbound, congestion is noted from junction 28 Tredegar Park to junction 26 Malpers. Moreover, on the A19 northbound in North Yorkshire, a road traffic collision has led to the closure of one of two lanes between the junctions with the A172 and the A67. And on the trains, northern buses are replacing trains between Corkicle and Whitehaven. Additionally, southern services are experiencing disruption between Havant and Chichester. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I ever got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Football. Welcome back. We're going through the sports news with Paul Coyte, who's here with us. Morning.
Morning. I love the way that you shout out the sport as we do it.
Football.
Let's start with briefly. Northern Ireland were beaten by Germany last night at Windsor Park. Not over though, still could qualify
I like
for the World Cup.
Both sides.
You know what? I particularly like the German kit because look, the German one.
It was quite retro, wasn't it?
It is very retro, very 1974. No messing around on it. Just the black collar and the black cuff bit, and the rest is just plain white. Very nice.
Did they not wear that shirt at the 66 World Cup final?
I think they did, yeah. That's it, yeah. Then 74, yes, 66. And 70 as well.
I like that Northern Irish one as well.
Very nice. I'll get you one of those. Very nice. Wales were beaten by Belgium in Cardiff, so they can still qualify as well. Looking more likely for them through the playoffs.
Is Bellamy the manager of Wales?
Yeah, we like him.
I like him a lot. He's got a lot of heart. He's got a lot of determination. And you talk about the Welsh team played with energy. They get that from him.
You know what? I'll be honest, I couldn't stand him as a player. I thought he was horrible. I really did. I thought he was horrible.
Too much mouth.
Too much of this.
Yeah.
Kicky, shouty, complainy, dirty. met him. I was host Cliff Jones. It was his 90th birthday, Wales legend.
Yeah.
And I hosted the evening. And I met, and Craig Bellamy was there. And my goodness, what a lovely man.
Nice guy.
Very clever. Knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Great manager. So everything I ever said, I'll take back. But I really liked him. So England are away in Latvia tonight. Now, the goalkeeper, I should say, Jordan Pickford. Jordan Pickford's broken the record for the most clean sheets for an England goalkeeper.
That's amazing.
Which was held by...
Seaman.
No, go back a bit further.
Shilton?
Gordon Banks.
Gordon Banks, really?
Gordon Banks had it for many years.
What a keeper.
7.
I played golf for Gordon Banks.
Did you really?
In Northern Ireland, yeah.
Did you? What was he like?
He's a lovely man. Really nice guy.
How did you play? Because that was the time when you hit the person.
I think I played with... no, that wasn't that time. I think I played with Gordon Banks and Alan Ball. I mean, two absolute legends.
Did you give the ball, go Gordon, hey, catch? Because Big Pat is going to be with us on the show tomorrow. Pat Jennings.
Oh,
great. Your friend...
I know Pat Jennings.
Pat Jennings, the greatest goalkeeper of all time, which we'll agree to.
Yeah.
Ellie, do you want to share your meeting with Pat Jennings?
Yeah, I asked him if he played football.
That's right, yeah. And do you
said,
play?
"This is
Do you
Pat
ever play
Jennings."
football?
Pat probably didn't even contest that. I mean, he's such a gentleman.
He didn't mind. He was very lovely.
Do you know what, Paul? He should be a sir. He should be Sir Pat
I still think so. He got a CBE last year, and he should be Sir Pat Jennings, without a doubt. So he'll be with us tomorrow.
Oh, great.
We'll talk more about that. But the reason I mentioned Jordan Pickford is that he now has the record, so it's 8 clean sheets. And let's hear from this is what Jordan Pickford had to say, because he was asked about clean sheets and what it was like breaking the record and how good he actually is for this game against Latvia tonight.
Yeah, I think it's good when you break them, but I think everyone knows what I'm like, team player, and I'll take credit sometimes, but I think it's a collective sport. We win together, we defend, we attack together, and like Harry says, you know, the defence starts from up top. Really, it's all 11 of us putting the shift in, and when I'm called upon, I'll make the saves. It's great to have that milestone, and hopefully break it again tomorrow and get 9.
You know what, Eamonn, he makes a good point, because it's not... When you get clean sheets, you can't measure goalkeepers, for me, on clean sheets.
Really? Why?
I don't think so, because it's about the team, because you could be the greatest goalkeeper the world's ever seen. And if you're not playing for a great side, then goals are going to be scored against you.
I thought he would have been playing for a great side by now. However, Everton, you know, reconstituted back. They've got a new stadium, whatever. Even he's probably right to stay there. I thought he would have gone a few years ago.
So we signed a new contract. So very happy, Everton. Very happy, Everton. Cape Verde. Are you familiar with the country Cape Verde, which is in the Atlantic Ocean?
Yeah.
It's now...
It's Portuguese, isn't it?
That's right. The second smallest country to qualify for the World Cup. The celebrations in Cape Verde, which I think we have, they're called the Blue Sharks. They've done better than Cameroon. They beat Cameroon. Look at the celebration. Can we see the cheers and the excitement? There they are.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Blue Sharks, they're called. So they beat Eswatini, which is another country I'm not familiar with. The smallest country, and it's done on population. Well, also in the top 5, I'll give you the top 5. You've got Kuwait, Northern Ireland, 82, of course. Trinidad and Tobago, Cape Verde second. Yes, but this is can you imagine the Vatican City football team? Yeah. OK, the Pope's going, I'm not going in goal. I'm not. I play up front, and that's the end of it. Who is the smallest country by population to qualify for the World Cup finals? They beat England in 2018.
I know who this is. They're done by France and Spain. No,
more north. Chile. It's Iceland. Iceland.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Only 330.
By population?
Yeah, only 335,000 people in Iceland.
Oh, amazing.
I didn't know there was that few. But anyway.
There you go.
Want to do some birthdays, or you want to save those?
We've got no time for birthdays this time around, but can you hold them for next time?
We'll do them at 8:30. Yes, we will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thank you very much indeed. Boris Johnson's claiming his Boris wave of immigration has nothing to do with him. OK?
Yes.
What do you think? Anna Firth and David Wooding will share their thoughts right after this.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Whilst the UK enjoys some settled, albeit cloudy weather this week, it's going to be increasingly wet on Wednesday in Sardinia and Corsica. Also some patchy rain moving into Madeira, 1 or 2 showers for the Canary Islands, but a lot of fine weather for Iberia at the moment, having seen this low move away. But that's the low bringing some very lively thunderstorms on Wednesday to Sardinia and Corsica, eventually moving through southern Italy into Greece as well, turning things unsettled later this week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
I'm Tom Harwood. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain's newsroom, weekday mornings from 9:30.
There's an interesting story, Charlie, in the Daily Mail. 2-year report that claims racism in the UK countryside is getting worse, with abuse normalised and tolerated. What do you think of this academic research?
Rubbish. Well, it's a load of old bunk. Yes, yeah. 2 years, as you say. 2 years to interview how many people? 115. It took 2 years.
Very scientific.
And this is where, people often ask about, what you do when you go to university, or the tuition fees that people have been paying. University of Leicester, where this report was undertaken, have funded this 2-year holiday spree by the sounds of things, and cobbled something together at the end. 115 people, that's nobody. But they've asked the question about, do you feel that the countryside is effectively exclusive in any kind of particular way?
Well, let me read this out. The report also claimed that non-verbal cues such as incessant staring and unfriendly body language made individuals from ethnic minority backgrounds feel unwelcome.
And no Wellington boots.
That's probably what they were staring at, yes.
Walking shoes. I'm a man with certain vintage. I've never owned a pair of walking shoes.
I haven't got walking shoes. I've got Wellington boots.
I've never owned a pair of walking shoes. I've got a pair of wellies.
Well, there you go.
A pair of trainers.
So we'd both be OK in the countryside.
It does not impede on your appreciation of the countryside having walking shoes or not.
Well, it depends how far you have to walk.
It's pathetic. Haven't these universities got better things to do?
Well, you would have thought so. But the idea that, the countryside is now all of a sudden racist, or the rural communities in our great countryside is all of a sudden exclusive, as I say, it's ridiculous.
GB News, the People's Channel.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, and this is GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Oh, we're just talking about children here and potty training them and all sorts of things. And we're doing that with Anna Firth and David Wooding this morning. So, David, this story, 6 out of 10 parents have admitted they don't think their children need to be potty trained before they start school. I mean, what sort of people are they? 6 out of 10, 60% of them.
Yeah, 64% to be precise, according to The Sun. And they're under the headline Potty Parents. They don't believe that their kids need to be toilet trained when they're sent to school. So it's no wonder the educational standards are poor if teachers are spending half their time changing nappies or helping kids go to the toilet when they should be teaching them how to read and write and add up. And it's putting an extra strain on. Our teachers are not social workers. No. They're there to teach our children to
to read, write, and
this has a price because then you hire teaching assistants, and there are a number of teaching assistants, more than one, in a classroom.
I think it has a huge price. We were just talking outside with your previous guest, who was saying that in primary schools in Sussex that he knows 1 in 6 children are not potty trained. That's 6 children in a class of 30. It takes a teacher about 10 minutes to deal with a child. So multiply that by 6. You're talking about hours of the school day going. So the children are not getting taught.
When I think of when I was at primary school, we had a fire, a log-burning fire, and they had a fire guard that went round it, and she used to have to put their pants or their trousers, whatever, to dry, on the fire guard before the day. And then you had kids who had certain problems, like they were called, I'll not name the names, but to this day they stay with you. They were called, so say his name was Wooding, he would be Woofy Wooding or whatever, or Smelly Wooding or whatever. You would have a name like that.
That's a really important point, though, Eamonn, because all 3 of my kids had to be potty trained before they could go into reception.
Of course, but you wouldn't dream of anything else,
You wouldn't dream of anything else, and it is a peer group thing. The kids pick up that the other kids are trained.
So we reckon it's not the kids' fault, it's the parents' fault.
Absolutely, 100%. But schools should not be taking these children because it's not fair on the other children.
It goes beyond this because 70%, according to this poll for the Department of Education, think that children shouldn't need to know how to hold a knife and fork. I mean, if that's what's happening, they're going into school unable to hold a knife and fork
in the canteen,
to have any attention span of more than a minute, unable to use the toilet unaided. What chance have they got? I mean, my children knew the alphabet before they went to school. So they could read some words. Because I spent time with them, and my wife spent time with them, teaching them these things and teaching them numbers. So they go to school with a little basics in life, and then the teachers take it on from there. But if the kids are going in with none of this, what chance have they got in life?
But the point is, the children whose parents have been responsible and have done all these things, their children are going to be held back.
Exactly.
By all
they're left suffering.
Then when they get older and they become teenagers, somebody was telling me during the week that in their child's school, the toilets, you can't go to the toilet during class. Now, I really don't understand that, but it's because a lot of them hike off because they say they feel anxious or they have anxiety attacks, whatever, and they go and hide in the loos. So the idea is that they can't let them. They somehow feel, I don't feel like doing this maths class, I'm going out here, or I'm anxious about this, or whatever. But I never remember, I wasn't a great toilet runner or running to the loo a lot, but I would never have been refused to go to the loo at school.
No, I seem to remember in some classes where you get somebody who kept putting their hand up. Miss, can I go to the loo, please?
Run away.
You suddenly ban them because...
But it shouldn't be a big deal, actually, in the reception and the primary schools, because as an MP, I was always going round these places, and they have little loos, just in the corner. So for those kids, that should
has to be closed, doesn't it?
Donating blood as well. We're getting a lot of people. Bob, for instance, this is some of your calls coming in on this today, and he said that he grew up in New Zealand. And he had lived in Australia. Every city or large town in New Zealand has a walk-in blood bank, and one donates there on a regular basis. No fuss, minimum bureaucracy, highly efficient. It beats the sleepy-headed, plodding, red-taped, hidebound NHS. No, so basically there is an officialdom associated with giving blood. We were talking about how we're all so reluctant, and I think where Bob was right is that it becomes a very official thing to do, as opposed to saying, right, it's Wednesday, I should give blood today.
I actually want to get into... I've never given blood, but I would like to. And you used to be able to have a van arrive sort of behind Tesco's, and it was nice and easy. But the reason that I think I think it's a good thing to do, but apparently, if you give blood, your body then obviously replenishes with new blood, and it's actually very good for you because it actually gives you a boost because you've suddenly got new blood in your system.
Yes,
I think it's a win-win for everybody to give blood.
Anna, let's have a look at a different story, shall we, in the Telegraph today. Boris Johnson saying, don't blame the Boris wave, this is the record immigration levels, on me.
Yeah, so these immigration figures, the Boris wave refers to the very high level of net immigration that we had during the COVID years. And there's a number of reasons for that. Obviously, those figures are terribly high. We don't want immigration at those levels ever again. But what was going on then is you had hundreds of thousands of people coming with the Homes for Ukraine scheme. You had hundreds of thousands of students coming that didn't actually go back. And then when they went back, those figures dropped. And then, of course, we relaxed things for care workers and nurses because we wanted to make sure our hospitals and care homes were fully staffed.
OK, Anna, David, thank you very much. We'll see you in about 45 minutes' time. Let's get a check on the weather now with Aidan McGibbon.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you. It's a dull start for many of us, and that's the way it's likely to continue through the rest of the day, with high pressure in charge, but that high pressure trapping a lot of low cloud, even some drizzle and some mist. But it's not cloudy everywhere. There are some decent breaks for, say, parts of West Wales, the southwest, as well as central and western Scotland. In fact, that's where the lion's share of sunshine will be heading into the afternoon. The thickest cloud towards the east and the southeast, where there'll also be some drizzly showers from time to time. Temperatures under the thick cloud, 14 to 16 Celsius. That's where we get some sunshine coming through. Could get up to the high teens in places, for example, parts of western Scotland, although the north of Scotland subject to cloudier skies and some light showers from time to time, particularly for Shetland and Orkney. 11 Celsius as we end the day here. A lot of clear skies, though, remaining through the Highlands and to the Western Isles as well. Blue skies, beautiful afternoon and evening to come. But for much of the Midlands, the south and east of England, that's where the thickest cloud will remain. Some cloud breaks towards western fringes, and where we do get cloud breaks overnight, temperatures will fall into the mid or even low single figures, perhaps a touch of frost in places, even some mist and fog patches by dawn. But for many, we keep the cloud, and that cloud will continue to give some light showers, particularly through the North Sea coast and into the English Channel coast as we start off Wednesday. But Wednesday starts similar to Thursday, with a lot of low cloud around, that low cloud drifting somewhat aimlessly across the country. Some reasonable cloud breaks, some sunshine coming through in the south of England, south and west Wales and northern Scotland. But elsewhere, it's simply another cloudy day with temperatures a little bit lower compared with Tuesday, mid-teens for many of us.
Today, clouds overhead, total zen within. Boxed Solar sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M90 is closed between junctions 6 and 7 due to a police incident. Drivers should find alternate routes. The A48M westbound from junction 29 Castleton to junction 29 St Mellons faces congestion. In South Gloucestershire, on the M48 westbound exit slip at junction 1, an earlier collision has closed one lane. Motorists should proceed with caution, and on the trains, northern services are disrupted with buses replacing trains between Corkicle and Whitehaven. Disruption also occurs on southern services between Havant and Chichester. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
There's just 3 weeks left to see how you could be our biggest winner this year. First, you could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primera motorhome. This luxury vehicle comfortably sleeps 4, has its own fitted kitchen and bathroom areas, and comes complete with fitted awning and bicycle rack. And that's not all, as we'll also give you a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m. only on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised. I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Has a new dawn broken over Gaza. The last 20 surviving hostages finally reunited with their families, ending 2 years in Hamas captivity.
Well, in exchange, nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and detainees were released under President Trump's historic peace accord.
It took 3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up.
The Israeli Prime Minister echoed the same message. This is what he had to say.
Emotional images have emerged of hostages reuniting with their families, including a woman who reunited with her boyfriend after 2 years.
Sorry, all these headlines are in the wrong order this morning, but we'll wait for a picture of the Shadow Chancellor to the Duchy of Lancaster, perhaps. No? Let's just go to this interview. Let's go to this live this morning. We've got, press a button, whatever it takes to be. We've got Alex Burghardt now, yes? Have we? Let's cross, Alex. I think you're in Westminster, Alex. Sorry, a few things going wrong here this morning. And there you are. Good man. Good, you're there at least.
We've got you at least, Alex.
That's good. Right.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr.
Good morning.
Burghardt.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can we have some reaction, please, to President Trump declaring a dawn of a new Middle East after signing that peace deal yesterday? Sir Keir Starmer was there behind him too. Do you have hope that this new peace deal will hold and this will be a new dawn for Gaza?
Well, we've got to have hope. We've got to have hope. I think what you saw yesterday was a huge international desire for peace, and you saw all of those world leaders turning up to be with President Trump to support what's going on in the Middle East. And let's just hope that the fighting is ended. We're very, very pleased that the Israeli hostages appear to be coming home finally after their terrible ordeal. We're pleased that the shooting has stopped, and we're pleased that aid is going to be going into Gaza. So, look, there's a very, very long road to travel, but this is how good things start.
President Trump, we're expecting him to land on Air Force One back in Washington very shortly. He's talking about peace in Ukraine already and having President Zelensky in the White House on Friday. Do you think that potentially President Trump could be solving 2 wars in 1 week?
Well, that would be amazing. I mean, I think that what we saw in the Middle East over the past few days is just what an incredible force for good America can be in the world when it puts its mind to it. And I think that things in Ukraine are rather different. I'm not convinced that Vladimir Putin wants peace. And I think that he will keep fighting until he thinks he can't gain any more territory. But if the Americans are going to give Mr. Zelensky the force to prevent that happening, then we might start to see things move very quickly.
So, as you're aware, the news situation, the news environment, so busy. But one of the things I'd like to talk to you about, and I know you're involved in this, is the Chinese spy case, which didn't come to fruition, and we're all trying to get some sort of clarification as to why it didn't come to fruition. The Labour government will say it was nothing to do with us. It was the Crown Prosecution Service which said the case was not strong enough and it wouldn't stand up in court. Now, you don't buy that, do you?
No, not at all, not at all. And the truth is that the Crown Prosecution Service asked the government to provide certain information so that it could proceed with the trial. And the government didn't do that. And we are still desperately trying to find out why that was. We had a statement in the Commons yesterday, which Kemi Badenoch took, and there were no good answers at all. And this looks like a dreadful cock-up and a cover-up. That the government should have given that information. These two men who've been arrested for spying against MPs, spying in the Houses of Parliament against members of Parliament who were elected by the British public, they have not been able to be brought to trial because the government hasn't cooperated. This is totally unacceptable, and it's the government's got to put this right. The government's got to come clean about why it didn't cooperate and bring that information forward now.
I think this worries people watching and listening to our programme this morning. It certainly worries me, the extent of China's espionage against the UK, and I think to such a degree that MI5 are going to get increasingly involved in protecting people like you and observing. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do this, but they're going to protect people like you from the Chinese.
I suspect that MI5 have long been doing this, and the government said this yesterday as kind of a brand new thing. But I think this is the sort of thing that's always been happening. It's one of the reasons MI5 are there. And look, the real issue here is that the government has failed to cooperate with the CPS, and it's meant that a criminal case over people who have been spying on behalf of the Chinese government has collapsed. We really need answers on this. The Prime Minister is going to have to come to the House himself and explain. Ultimately, he's responsible. Yesterday, they were trying to pretend that it was all down to the Deputy National Security Advisor, who didn't talk to anyone else, apparently didn't talk to any politicians, didn't talk to the National Security Advisor, Jonathan Powell, who's an old friend of Tony Blair's. Didn't do any of that. He was just acting on his own. This doesn't really seem to stack up at all. It's very, very difficult to imagine that a deputy, in a case so important as this, which touches on the lives of lots of politicians who work behind me, would have been acting alone. So look, we all need answers, and we need, fundamentally, we need reassurance that nothing like this is ever going to happen again.
About China, what's your reaction to the news that China has now made a formal application to build this super embassy in London? So many of the details in the papers today, but it would be a diplomatic compound, a huge compound next to Tower Bridge. Security experts are concerned because it would essentially provide this dungeon, if you like, that would give Chinese agents access to underground cables that serve the city of London. So that application has gone in. Do you think that plan needs to be rejected?
Yeah, we do. We're against these proposals, and the fact of the matter is, as you just said there have been several independent reports that have said that that this would compromise not just national security but the security of the financial city. And we can't, all of the people from around the world who come and do business in London, come and trade in London, they need to be assured that their information is safe, and it would be potentially be severely compromising to a major part of our economy if this was to go ahead. So we're opposed. We don't understand why the government is dragging its heels over this one. It seems like a pretty clear case.
Later on today, the anti-smacking petition is going to be handed in to number 10. Those behind the campaign, lots of children's charities, calling for smacking of children to be banned in England. It is already banned in Wales and in Scotland. Do you think that smacking needs to be banned in England?
Personally, I don't. I think that parents shouldn't feel that they're at risk of prosecution if they, smack their children. Of course, we're all against children being beaten, and I've come across some horrible cases of child abuse in my time. Thoroughly against anything like that, but but for a sort of a mild corrective smack is not something that I'm opposed to at all, and I don't think decent parents should feel that they're at risk of being dragged into court if they do it.
Okay, Alex, appreciate your thoughts on a wide, varied subject list there. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Well, let us know what you think on that one, because it is controversial, isn't it, smacking of children. Many people think it should be banned entirely. Others, similar to what Alex Burkhardt is saying, that it should be up to the individual parent to decide how to discipline their child. Let us know what you think. gbnews.com/yoursay. Well, we're joined in the studio by GB News reporter Charlie Peters. Very good morning to you, Charlie. And what have you got for us this morning?
Well, we're reflecting more on this crisis in the Middle East, aren't we? And the ongoing process there. So a lot of anger in Israel as many of the hostages still remain, their bodies still remain.
Well, look, you were there 2 years ago. You were reporting on this from the start. I'm sure little did you think it would go on so long, but now that it's ended, how did you feel watching those pictures yesterday?
Well, meeting lots of the families 2 years ago, I mean, GB News deployed to Israel straight away. It was our first war deployment as a broadcaster. That was tricky. Meeting those families and trying to process the grief that they were enduring was extremely intense. And actually, we've had moments of joy over the last 2 years speaking to those families as some of their loved ones have been released, but also moments of deep sadness as some of those families who we met in October 2023 have had it confirmed to them by the IDF that their loved ones had died, or that what would be returning to them was a body, not someone living.
But they mightn't even get those bodies. And I mean, I think as a reporter, you should highlight to people why that will not be the case. I think people sort of think there's some sort of warehouse and these bodies are stacked up waiting to be taken out of fridges or whatever it happens to be. If only it was that orderly.
Yeah, and what we're seeing right now in Gaza with the fighting between different clans, as they're being described by Arab media and indeed by Israel itself, talking about the sort of competition on the ground in this power vacuum. We're seeing well over 30 people being injured, several killed in fighting between Hamas and rival clans, some who reportedly have been armed by Israel to sort of improve resistance to Hamas in the Gaza Strip. It does point to an issue we have, Eamonn, where there were rival factions who held on to those hostages as well. The Palestinian Islamic Jihad, a rival group that operates alongside Hamas, but obviously has its differences as well. They, on many occasions, were known to be holding some of these hostages as well. And some of the footage we've seen, some of the people who've been freed, I have to say, I wasn't sure that some of those people would be freed. As Eviatar David, who we saw footage of him earlier this year, digging his own grave, Eamonn, digging his own grave.
But this story in front of many of the papers today, Ellie will tell you about it, this boyfriend and girlfriend. If Hamas had have known what his true profession was, he wouldn't have returned. Tell us all, Ellie.
Well, this is a lady called Noah Argami, and her boyfriend Aviatan, and they, well, really personified the October the 7th attacks. It was the two of them. You might remember Noah.
So he was Special Forces.
He was Special Forces. She was taken away on a motorbike on October the 7th. He was taken away on foot by Hamas terrorists. He was SAS. He was in Special Forces for the Israeli army. He kept that secret in Hamas captivity for 738 days. Now, obviously, if they'd have known that he was Israeli Special Forces, he wouldn't be alive today, but he made it out. And we just saw the pictures there on the screen of Noah and Aviatan being reunited yesterday. Just some of these human stories that we saw, it's just incredible.
And there is obviously a moment of great relief, these moments of families and loved ones being reunited. But I think already the questions are going to be asked. What is the strategic outcome of this war for Israel? Have they won a victory here? Because, of course, there is peace, their hostages have been freed.
Yeah.
But as we're seeing, the violence in Gaza re-erupting again, Hamas not only still has weapons, but it still has power. The stated goal of this war was not only just to free the hostages and keep Israelis safe, but also to destroy Hamas as a political and military force. That has not been achieved.
But this is why, Charlie, people listen to Trump and they hang on his every word, and often those words are very simplistic. When he says the war is over, is it over? Look, I mean, you've been there. You see, what is the rebuilding that has to be done? How do you mend how people feel about each other after what has gone on? Could there ever possibly be peace? Who's going to invest? Who's going to carry out the construction work? Goodness me.
Yeah, well, it's interesting,
So many
isn't it,
loose ends.
that during Trump's address to the Knesset yesterday, that there were two sort of far-left politicians who chastised him because they're sort of Arab Israelis or Israelis who are part of this movement in Israel to generate closer ties towards the Palestinians. In fact, lots of people who were killed on October 7th were actually part of that ambition. So many peace workers were murdered on October 7th as well, those who were involved in offering work and support to Palestinians in Gaza, especially those at the Nova Festival in the south, that atrocity there.
Peace, let's not forget.
Absolutely. So the question that I think many Israelis will be asking will be, who are those in Gaza who would chastise Hamas to say, let's get closer ties to Israel, let's process that dialogue, let's get round the table and find opportunities to have those conversations? Because while there are political pacts in Israel very keen on normalising processes, what we're seeing in Gaza right now is if you speak out against Hamas, you will be assassinated. You will be shot in the streets in front of crowds.
Well, Charlie, thanks for putting us in the picture there, and we've got to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed.
See you in the next hour.
Thank you. We're going to take a break and we're going to be back, and we've got Paul with the sport coming up. Right now, the weather update. Here's Aidan McGivern. Good morning, Aidan.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you. It's a dull start for many of us, and that's the way it's likely to continue through the rest of the day, with high pressure in charge, but that high pressure trapping a lot of low cloud, even some drizzle and some mist. But it's not cloudy everywhere. There are some decent breaks for, say, parts of West Wales, the southwest, as well as central and western Scotland. In fact, that's where the lion's share of sunshine will be heading into the afternoon. The thickest cloud towards the east and the southeast, where there'll also be some drizzly showers from time to time. Temperatures under the thick cloud, 14 to 16 Celsius, but where we get some sunshine coming through, could get up to the high teens in places, for example, parts of western Scotland, although the north of Scotland subject to cloudier skies and some light showers from time to time, particularly for Shetland and Orkney. 11 Celsius as we end the day here. A lot of clear skies, though, remaining through the Highlands and to the Western Isles as well. Blue skies, beautiful afternoon and evening to come. But for much of the Midlands, the south and east of England, that's where the thickest cloud will remain. Some cloud breaks towards western fringes, and where we do get cloud breaks overnight, temperatures will fall into the mid or even low single figures, perhaps a touch of frost in places, even some mist and fog patches by dawn. But for many, we keep the cloud, and that cloud will continue to give some light showers, particularly through the North Sea coast and into the English Channel coast as we start off Wednesday. But Wednesday starts similar to Thursday, with a lot of low cloud around, that low cloud drifting somewhat aimlessly across the country. Some reasonable cloud breaks, some sunshine coming through in the south of England, south and west Wales and northern Scotland. But elsewhere, it's simply another cloudy day with temperatures a little bit lower compared with Tuesday, mid-teens for many of us.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, is it time to ban smacking?
Well, yeah. I mean, when I was young, I had of my 4 children, there's one of them I would have smacked who I thought deserved it, right?
Aww.
Never. Well, he still deserves smacked, and he's 33 today. But I wouldn't do it now, and I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of it.
Yes,
I think.
Looking back.
I think it's a reflection on me that I didn't handle the situation well, or I lost my temper over it. But I never touched the other children.
Oh, so it's only the one?
Only the one.
Only the one naughty child who you had to hit.
Oh, he's naughty, there's no doubt about it.
Well,
but anyway.
I'm not a parent, but I wouldn't like to hit a
Yes.
child. But you can't tell really, can you, unless you've been in that position.
When I was young, you were just smacked as normal, and most of that was by teachers.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about all of that after this. Don't go away.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
It's pretty crass and crude in places, but it is basically making fun of Hitler. And it's a shady shyster producer who politely shtups old ladies to get investment money. And he figures out, with the help of a young, twitchy accountant, that if they take a lot of money in, put on a show that's guaranteed to flop, they won't have to repay the money, and then they're going to do a runner to Brazil. And of course, they think that Springtime for Hitler is the ideal show, and the guy that plays Franz, who's the writer of it, has like a sort of tin pot hat and these pigeons that harmonise with swastikas on their back. For me, he kind of stole the show. I thought he was wonderful. But they basically put on this show, and of course it becomes a hit. And people think that it's a satire when they were trying to outrage and horrify people and get the show to close.
Because they learned that they could make more money with a flop than they could with a hit.
Yes, because they don't have to repay anybody. So that was the idea behind all of that. It's wonderfully done. This was at the Menier Chocolate Factory before. I didn't love it quite as much there. I just thought it was a little bit cramped. And this is a show that it's broad. It needs big moments, big swings. I liked it. It's on at the Garrick. It's all the way through till January. I just grinned all the way through. It's brilliantly done. Everyone on stage. Andy Nyman in the lead as Max Bialystock is absolutely sensational, filling very big Nathan Lane and Zira Mostel boots. But I think the whole cast is great. I just think everyone is up there absolutely going for it. And you saw it, no?
My mouth was on the floor at some moments. I mean, it is bawdy, it is outrageous.
And the show stands up. It's still relevant. It's still, about possibly what's going on in the world everywhere as well, and fascism and dictatorships, but also about the proper use of satire.
GB News, the People's Channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
Welcome back. Now it's time for the Great British Giveaway. Here are all of the details you need for a chance to make it yours.
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benimar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry starts at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
So we're going to talk about smacking now, and the former footballer Alan Shearer is against it, which is surprising because he wasn't against it when he played on the pitch. He did a lot of smacking, so he did. Well, him and Roy Keane used to smack each other about something shocking. Sir Michael Caine, he's not in favour of it. They've joined calls for the government to ban the whole idea of smacking. It is banned in Scotland, it is banned in Wales, it's not banned in Northern Ireland, and it's not banned in England.
Yep, so this morning we're asking, is it ever OK to smack a child?
Well, to debate this, we're joined by social commentator and parent Annalise Caldwell. Good morning, Annalise. And communication expert and parent Killeen Kent.
Yes, very good morning, ladies. Annalise, let's start with you. Is it ever OK to smack a child?
Well, I think on very, very rare occasions, yes. And so I have two daughters, one who's 18 and one who's 22. And once, when my elder child was 15 months old, I smacked her hand. And I did that because of certain behaviours towards our family dog. It was a conscious decision, it was a choice that I made. And I made it because there were certain situations that were going on. And I think to have criminalised me, to give me a criminal record for doing that, would be a waste of everybody's time and really wouldn't change anything for the general public, for children, for the outcome of most children's lives. So I think to ban it outright is a step that doesn't need to be taken, and I think it's almost a smokescreen. Where other things need to be prioritised, other things need to be looked at. You know, child poverty is actually the biggest reason and the biggest area that I think needs to be looked at to prevent child abuse and negative outcomes for children. We already have laws preventing people from beating their children, from abusing their children. Unfortunately, it still happens. It's horrendous. But to criminalise parents for making informed decisions relating to their specific circumstances on occasion, I think is a step that doesn't need to be taken.
Killeen, do you think it's a step too far? Do you think parents should be able to decide how they wish to discipline their children?
Thank you very much for having me. I think the important thing here is there's a huge disparity between children's and adults' protection in law. And that hence the campaign by the NSPCC and others, because physical punishment is allowed if it constitutes reasonable punishment. But the point is, we're not talking necessarily about the majority of parents who are loving and they're bringing their children up in a loving, caring environment. We are talking about the children who are at risk, and there are many who do get harmed on a regular daily basis. And it isn't, and it is a fact, it isn't, we're not talking about the majority, we're talking about the minority. The other thing, important thing here is that what it means is that a child has got less protection. You cannot hit another adult, it will be assault or battery. Yet a child is able to actually be hit. And it's not OK.
Killeen, I think you've hit the nail on the head there. When you look at someone like Annalise, and she's embarrassed to talk about smacking her child on the hand 20 years ago or whatever, and you look and you think, well, she's obviously a person that wouldn't go beyond that. But that's not who we're talking about. We're talking about all the other idiots who bring children into the world. We're talking about 64% of them who don't feel that their children should be toilet trained before they go to school. There are some people who just do not have parenting skills or the associated responsibility, and it's them really who we're bringing this in for, Annalise. What do you think to that?
Yeah, obviously I know that. But the fact is that someone like me could end up with a criminal record if somebody found out that I'd smacked my child. Now, actually, nobody would know that I'd smacked my child because it was in the privacy of my own home. And I know that I only ever smacked one of my children one time, and you don't necessarily know whether I'm telling the truth or I'm not. I could have been hitting them every day of their lives, and none of you would know. So what I'm saying is, I don't think that a ban on smacking is going to make any difference. We have a ban in Scotland, we have a ban in Wales. There is no data that shows that there is any less or more child abuse in England than Scotland.
Is there anything, Kalini, you'd like to add about Wales or Scotland that you think has made a difference?
Yes, and I think there is data. There is data, because what you don't hear about are the minority cases. The important thing I think which really need to recognise is that the child cannot speak up for themselves. We are talking about, when does a smack become a thump, become something more severe and more. And there must be. There is data. There is data to prove it. I cannot quote it to you here right now. But it's fear-based learning. What we're also doing, and I think the social and psychological impact on the child needs to be considered. It causes anxiety. It leads to them having emotional and mental health problems because they are fearing what their carer, their loved person is doing to them. And it's also teaching them that it's okay. We all learn behaviours. It's teaching them that it's okay to actually hit another person if we are not happy. They are learning that physical punishment is okay, and that is not okay for them. And I think it's really important that we think in terms of, yes, there are 70 countries who have now outlawed this. So it's almost like a postcode lottery. Why should it be protected in Scotland and Wales? Yet in England, why should there not be equal protection? It's just not fair on the child, because it is like a postcode lottery.
Guys, and it is, I'm sorry, a bit like this discussion, a bit of a postcode lottery. We wish we had more time. We haven't. There's so much news about. Annalise and Kalini, thank you both very much indeed for raising the subject. You've got us all thinking and reflecting, whether it was done to us or whether we did it or where the future should go on this. So thank you very much indeed. And we're asking our viewers and listeners to have their say, to get in touch, register their views on this morning. Thank you both very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, it's just coming up to 8:30. Let's speak now to the government and the Housing Secretary, Steve Reid. Good morning to you, Mr. Reid.
Well, Steve...
Good morning, good to be with you.
It's good to see you, Steve, in a new job, right? You're in a new job, you're doing the housing...
about a month in now,
Yeah, and the thing I like about you, Steve, if the bells stop there, like Quasimodo with the bells, the bells. I just wanted to say, look, you understand your brief. I do get that, and you care very passionate about things. Anytime I've ever spoke to you about previous briefs and whatever, and this is a heck of a responsibility that has been landed on your shoulders. Now, the first thing people are going to say to you, myself included, is you've set targets that are unachievable. They're unachievable. Let's be realistic. Are you going to have to amend them?
Well, they're not unachievable. I hear what you're saying. I know it's a stretching target, but we've got a housing crisis in this country. We've seen the number of people sleeping rough in doorways and under bridges double over the last 10 years. We've got families stuck in temporary accommodation. They call it temporary, but actually it's a single room, and often families are stuck in there for a year with kids sharing a bed, the parents sleeping on the sofa in a single room, and you've got young people who are unable to make the dream of owning their own home come true in the way that I was when I was younger. And we can't lock...
No, but how do you build them? How do you get the whole system moving?
Good point. Well, the problem is, what is blocking homes being built? It's our planning system. It's too slow, it's too cumbersome. Blockers can too easily stop homes going ahead. Now, I'll give you an example. There's a council in Essex called Rochford Council, and they blocked 600 homes from going ahead. It then went to the courts on appeal, got overturned 2 years later, and then we got spades in the ground and we got cranes in the sky, and the homes got built. But what about all the cost of that delay? What about the fact that for 2 years, homes that people could have bought weren't being built? So we need to get councils taking the right decision and not unreasonable decisions on blocking homes when they could go ahead. So we're changing the rules. We're going to have more powers to stop councils taking that kind of decision. Of course, I believe, and it will always be the case, that residents should have a say over what can and can't be built in their local area. But we can't have councils just blocking the homes that then close down the dream of home ownership for millions of our fellow citizens in this country.
You've promised to build 1.5 million new homes in the next 5 years. We're 1 year down, about 186,000 homes or so. I mean, it's off to a slow start, isn't it? How are we going to speed this up? I mean, is that pledge even feasible at this stage?
Yeah, no, because what we're seeing is the tail end of what was going on under the previous government when house building collapsed by a fifth in their final years, because it takes amount of time before the application goes in, then it gets approved, and then the building begins. It does take more than a year before you see the change, but we're already seeing the number of starts going up by 29% in the last year. It needs to go up faster than that, and that's the reason I'm bringing forward in the House of Lords behind me this week new changes to the legislation that will stop councils unreasonably blocking homes that could have been going ahead. It will stop applications being timed out in the courts. You know, you only get a certain number of months when an application for a new home has been built before it gets timed out. And if it's locked up in the courts in an appeal, that can stop it and you get back to square one. So we're going to stop the clock when the case goes to the court, so it doesn't have to go back to square one again if the developer wins on appeal. But we need to get those homes built because we can't deal with the housing crisis if we don't.
No, we can't. But Steve, from unreasonably stopping them being built to unreasonably giving them away. Now, I know our viewers and listeners, they're concerned that when these houses are built, when these homes are built, it'll be nobody that is currently living in the United Kingdom at the minute or in England that will actually get them or see them. They think they will go to a lot of the migrant population that are just newly coming into the country.
No, I mean, if you look at who is buying homes, the vast majority of them are going to British citizens, and, you know, asylum seekers who have come here illegally are not allowed access to social housing. So the vast majority of these homes will, of course, and quite rightly, go to people who are British citizens and already live in this country. We need to get these homes built. Local people will always have a say. You know, we want local councils to develop something called a local plan, and that means local people get to say what kind of homes can be built, how big they can be, what they look like, how many GP surgeries or schools will be required. All of that gets agreed democratically, and then if an application for a house building comes along and it's in line with what local people have said they would accept, why should it not go ahead rather than be held up for years and years and years, denying people the dream of their own home to live in?
Stamp duty, like Kemi Badenoch is pledging if she were to be elected.
Oh, the sound's gone.
I think you have to say.
Mr. Reid, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Sorry, the sound went off for a moment.
It's good we've got you back. Would you be interested in scrapping stamp duty, as Kemi Badenoch is pledging, if she were to be elected as Prime Minister?
Well, of course, the Conservatives were in power for 14 years and house building fell off the edge of a cliff. So they did nothing about that while they were in power. Now what she's doing is making a commitment to spend billions of pounds that she hasn't got on an unfunded promise. Now, I remember when they did this before, there was a woman called Liz Truss who was... Well, do you remember when Liz Truss was Prime Minister? She made multi-billion-pound unfunded spending cuts. It crashed the economy. It sent mortgages skyrocketing. It sent rents rising. It sent prices in the shops up, and people lost their jobs. The Conservatives, instead of learning from that mistake, want to do it all over again. The Conservatives in government couldn't find savings of the kind they're talking about. Now, magically in opposition, they're suddenly telling us they can. Yeah. We know it's a fantasy. We know they crashed the economy before. They're not going to be allowed to do it again.
Steve, it's just a curious one for me, just in 5 seconds or so. What percentage of those houses would be social housing, which I think is very, very important and very, very needed?
Well, absolutely right. It depends where they are, but we're looking for 20 to 40% of it to be social and affordable, because, of course, we need to build the homes that this country needs.
Of course we do. Steve, as I say, big weight on your shoulders, big officer responsibility. I know you'll handle it well, and I wish you every luck and every success, because the country needs these houses, it has to be said. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Reid.
Thank you, Eamonn. Appreciate your words.
Cheers, mate.
Now, if you're travelling to work or school this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M90 is closed between junctions 6 and 7 due to a police incident. Motorists should use alternate routes. The A48M westbound from junction 29 Castleton to 29A St Mellons is congested. In Dudley, a collision on the M5 northbound between junctions 3 and 2 has closed one lane. The M25 anti-clockwise in Hertfordshire has one lane closed between junctions 17 and 16 with expected delays. The M27 westbound in Hampshire between junctions 9 and 8 is congested. And on the trains, Chiltern Railway services are disrupted between Aylesbury and Amersham. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Do stay with us, still to come.
People wanted to see pictures of Ellie's new kitchen, which is not worth seeing at the moment.
It's not at the moment. It's
a building site.
That
is a building site. It is. But
also, lots of you talking about a hot tap, which you've got.
Well, I thought you said a hot tub.
A hot tap, which you also have. Saying that I need to have a hot tap in the house. You can get instant hot water.
Right.
So I need to look into that.
OK, we need to look into the sport with Paul right after this.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
We're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
Here's Paul looking at.
You know what? Let me tell you, England play tonight against Latvia in a very windy place. It's going to be very windy, but if they win tonight, that means they qualify for the World Cup finals next year.
And you think they've got it in the bag?
Absolutely.
We've got nothing to worry about. We'll be celebrating tomorrow.
Do you want to play birthdays?
Yes, please.
Should we play?
Yes, please.
Right, famous sporting birthdays. Whose birthday is it today? Oh, it's Matt Le Tissier. Is it Matt Le Tissier? I think it's Matt Le Tissier.
Yes, that looks like Matt.
Yeah, there we are.
Matt's got
How old is Matt Le Tissier today?
Matt's got to be, dear. I think Matt's got to be, he's got to be 50, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he's a bit more than that. There he is. That's
55.
55? Any advance on 55, Ellie, for Matt Le Tissier?
62.
Great penalty record. He's got 57 is the answer.
Right.
First one. OK, that's the first one. Let's go with another one. Who do we have now? It is, Steve Cram, one of our greatest ever middle distance runners, commentator now, held the mile record.
Well, he was big in Moscow Olympics in 80, wasn't he?
80, well, that's when he came through. 84 was probably his...
So...
84, so that would be 40 years ago.
Right, it's doing the math.
So he would have been...
And he would have been 20 there.
So he's been 63.
65. Good work, though. See what you're doing. Let's go with another one. We've got a couple more. Now, that's a very tricky one to be able to tell. It's Eamonn Holmes playing golf at St Andrews by the look of things. I'll tell you who that is. You would never, and if you're listening on the radio, you don't... Oh, that's a better picture. It's Tyrrell Hatton. Tyrrell Hatton, one of our best golfers. Fantastic character. Played in the Ryder Cup. Was brilliant in that. So, and he's one of our younger... It's difficult to say with a golfer.
He's 35.
He's
35.
44.
He's 34, very close. 34. And I think we have another one. Oh, it's Alex Scott.
Alex Scott is
35.
No, she's not. She's 40 plus. She's...
Good.
40...
Go 40...
41.
One is the right answer, yes!
Gosh, she looks amazing.
And finally, there he, I believe, just by looking at the picture, that is the 1968 Eurovision Song Contest.
Congratulations and jubilations. I want the world to know I'm happy as can be.
See, he's still cheesed off that he never actually won it that year. He never won it that year. And also, that was the year that Barry McGuigan's dad was also in Eurovision for Ireland that year. 68. But hell,
we have that on our podcast.
We did indeed, yes.
Revelation. Yeah.
68. So that's the year from the Eurovision Song Contest. But the legendary evergreen Cliff Richard, how old is he today?
85.
He is 85.
He is 85.
Yay!
Very good work. Was there cheating going on, or was that not at all?
No, can I just say that was an absolute guess from me?
Very good. And what about you, Eamonn? Did you know that, or was that just a guess?
No, I knew that.
Oh, you did know that?
No,
all right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you very much indeed.
Guess.
Very good.
Still to come, the Prince and Princess of Wales are preparing to move into their new home, Forest Lodge in Windsor Great Park. There it is, getting ready for them, all that scaffolding.
It's a wee bit more than a Forest Lodge, I would say.
It's
yeah.
palatial.
Anna Firth and David Wooding talking about that and lots more next.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean all clear skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Whilst the UK enjoys some settled, albeit cloudy weather this week, it's going to be increasingly wet on Wednesday in Sardinia and Corsica. Also some patchy rain moving into Madeira, 1 or 2 showers for the Canary Islands, but a lot of fine weather for Iberia at the moment, having seen this low move away. But that's the low bringing some very lively thunderstorms on Wednesday to Sardinia and Corsica, eventually moving through southern Italy into Greece as well, turning things unsettled later this week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. No, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Lee Purvis. Lee, I think last night there were probably 10 million armchair judges watching, but what was your verdict on what you saw?
I thought it was fantastic. I was slightly taken aback at how harsh the judges seemed to be, certainly for the first week of them at voting. I think Karen Carney's jive was fantastic, made me want to take up jiving. And I think Ross King got off really badly, actually. I felt quite sorry for him. I was quite surprised at how harshly marked he was. And having met him several times, obviously, in the showbiz scene and as a fellow journalist, you know, I knew how utterly nervous he was. And I think it's going to be a bumpy ride for all the contestants this year. The judges are really focusing on the footwork on the floor, and absolutely everyone needs to sort of up their game. But it was absolutely fabulous. You know, more than 100,000 sequins involved in the show that we saw last night, and it can only get bigger and better.
I think that that first programme is always the opportunity for people more to decide who is likely to get the chop rather than those that are going to make it through to the glitter ball. Because, I mean, you know, so many people are so close with their marking last night, and so many of them clearly show the opportunity of getting better as they go week after week. But it is usually quite easy to find, I think, who's going to be thrown out. What do you think?
Well, so I think Ross King, definitely, we'll see him probably go in literally a matter of weeks. I think Stephen Dennis, who played Paul Robinson for many years on our screens in Australian soap Neighbours, I don't think he's going to be in it for much longer either. Again, I felt quite sorry for him, and also having to dance to the theme tune of Neighbours was just pure genius.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
We have got Anna Firth and we've got David Woody, and they've got the stories in the papers, and we were all talking to something that affects us all. You've heard about robot taxis or driverless cars. They're now, David, going to introduce this to aeroplanes.
Yes, there's a story in the Daily Star this morning about robot pilots getting takeoff. This is in the USA, where the Federal Aviation Authority have agreed a contract with a company called Reliable Robotics to fly aeroplanes.
They're flying.
Well, yes, absolutely. And they've done recently done a flight, a very short one, where the pilot or the person managing the robotics was 50 miles away, and the plane took off and landed. The whole flight was done by robotics. Nobody was on board. And they're going to extend this first to cargo flights, but I guess eventually it will be passenger flights.
Well, makes me very nervous.
A cargo flight could be a flying bomb, you know, I mean,
yes.
Anyway, where it is. At the end of the day, Anna, we all have to make the decision, would we pay our money and take a seat on a pilotless plane?
No, I wouldn't. I totally get the point that most accidents now are due to pilot human error. But what happens when the tech goes down? For me, that pilot, properly trained professional pilot, is there as that backup. Use the tech when we're cruising along, but takeoff and landing, you still need a human being to do it properly.
I don't think we realise how much, when we get on a passenger flight, is done by robots already. It's probably just an extension of that. And I suspect also that younger people who have grown up with robotics as part and parcel of life, you know, AI, surgery and other things where we use robotics or driverless cars, we'll be less worried about it because it'll be part and parcel of life. Where we oldies find it really quite scary.
Airline owners, they want rid of pilots. Pilots are a massive cost to them.
Expensive.
And you take, you know, if they're getting 100,000 plus a year for being a pilot, that gets right off the bill. And it'll be interesting to see how that happens. But I think this will happen. We have taxis that you know, are driverless, and I think you'll get to airplanes.
But, I mean, it's like trains, isn't it? I mean, trains are essentially driverless.
Yeah.
But you still do have a driver on them.
Because the union insists on it.
But also,
not the owners.
But partly, perhaps, there are those occasions where you might need that human intervention.
Yeah.
I
agree with you. I would like your solution, which is pilotless, fine, but have a pilot standing by in case needed.
And also, as long as they don't get rid of the cabin crew to bring me my in-flight gin and tonic.
That is essential, isn't
it? Margaret Thatcher's 100th birthday, which was yesterday, and this is what Boris Johnson had to say about her.
Liberated the Falkland Islands, she freed and incidentally freed the people of Argentina from a brutal dictatorship, and and above all, she ended the Cold War. She put paid to the gulags, she called time on the KGB, and she brought hope and joy and a better life to millions of people in Eastern Europe, hundreds of millions of people in Eastern Europe and the former Soviet Union, and she ended the terror of families who had learned to fear the knock of the secret police on their doors in the night, and she ended that conflict, the Cold War.
There's a lot of Thatcher nostalgia, Anna, going about.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I was one of Thatcher's children. You know, she definitely inspired me into politics. My favourite story, if we've got time, is during the Falklands War, when she had a conversation with Ronald Reagan. He tried to persuade her that there should be a Brazilian peacekeeping force on the Falklands. She went ballistic at him and said, "I have not lost some of my finest men not to complete the project." He apparently held the phone away from his ear and said to his officials, "Isn't she magnificent?" She was a stateswoman, the like of which we're not going to see again. Well, we might actually. I think Kemi Badenoch is showing all the signs.
Comparisons are made.
All the signs of being another Margaret Thatcher. You know, starting off not as popular, but getting into her stride, thinking things through. I mean, what a speech she gave at party conference. It was a real humdinger.
Anna, let's stay with you, shall we, and look at this prostate screening programme, which could save thousands. This is on the Telegraph front pages.
Yes, thank you for covering this. This is so important. Prostate cancer is the biggest killer of men. Kills 1 man every 45 minutes. 1 in 8 men will get it. And yet there's no screening programme, no national screening programme yet. But the Cancer Research Society have come up with one, and it's fully costed. It's only £25 million. That's 0.01% of the NHS budget. My father was one. Well, it's a silent killer, prostate cancer. You don't know you've got it till it's too late. My dad got it. He died of it. Let's stop men dying of this for £25 million. It's a no-brainer.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it says that for this £18 a test, it would save 1,000. It would add 1,200 years to the lives of men overall within a year, and you know, it would save the NHS the knock-on effects, because the treatment of prostate cancer, if it's caught in its early stages, doesn't cost half as much as if it's caught later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you a decorator?
Decorator? No, I tend to pay decorators, but I would certainly not.
Yes, you do what you do and you pay them to do what they do. Well, apparently if you're redecorating, Anna, this year, 4 out of 5 homeowners plan to paint their house a certain colour, and that colour is?
Light blue. Light blue.
Oh, it's a coastal thing, you know? That's what it is.
Well, maybe.
People are going for the coastal theme.
I think we've got... I mean, colours come and go, don't they? We had this sort of the beiges, where everyone's house you went into was like a pot of beige paint. Then it went on to grey, and now we're still in pastels. And now we're going light blue. We saw this story because we were looking at Kate and William moving home soon, out of their lovely cottage, which isn't really a cottage, of course, into a Georgian mansion called Forest Lodge. And we were just sort of wondering, well, are they going to paint their rooms light blue? I suspect it's going to be listed Farrow and Ball paints of a number of different colours.
I like the cartoon, which you like as well, Eamonn, on the next to the story in the Daily Mail. It's got a picture of a man and his wife, and she's saying, "We've just had the house painted blue," and the man's wearing a Manchester United shirt, and he says, "I don't like it." But it's cold and warm colours. I was always told that green and blue pastel colours were cold, so you want something warmer, so you have a yellow or well, red is a warmer colour.
Red is warm. Would you paint red? You'd have red.
As you say, you do what you do and pay someone else to make those decisions, like Farrow and Ball. Thank you very much indeed, David. Good talking to you today. Come again soon. Anna, lovely as always. Thank you very much indeed.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
Now we'll be back with all the top stories. Let us know what you make of any of them. gbnews.com/you'll say. Back in a tick.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. In Scotland, the M90 is closed between junction 6 and 7 due to a police incident. In Wales, congestion on the A48 to M, westbound stretches from Castleton to St Mellons. In Luton, a collision on the M1 northbound between junctions 10 and 11 has closed 2 lanes, causing delays. Travellers on the A27 eastbound should expect delays between the A3023 and the A259 Chichester West. And on the trains, Chiltern Railway services between Aylesbury and Amersham and Greater Anglia routes between Chelmsford and Shenfield are disrupted. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
There's just 3 weeks left to see how you could be our biggest winner this year. First, you could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primera motorhome. This luxury vehicle comfortably sleeps 4, has its own fitted kitchen and bathroom areas, and comes complete with fitted awning and bicycle rack. And that's not all, as we'll also give you a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Good morning. A new chapter in Middle East relations.
After 2 years of torment, Donald Trump celebrates the return of all remaining hostages.
It took 3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up.
But as Israel demands Hamas returns the bodies of all hostages by the end of today, could peace in the region be short-lived?
Well, there are warring factions fighting in Gaza as the power vacuum needs to be filled. Will Hamas be de-armed and be removed from power? These are the questions that are dominating the Middle East today.
The Housing Secretary on this very programme this morning promised to get Britain building, and he lashed out at councils.
We can't have councils just blocking the homes that then close down the dream of home ownership for millions of our fellow citizens in this country.
A blow to the government this morning as unemployment figures rise to 4.8%.
The Supreme Court is set to hear the government's appeal of Northern Ireland's Legacy Act, but are protections for veterans who served their country at risk of being watered down? It's a complicated one.
52 years on from Bloody Sunday, a soldier is beginning his second day of defence here in Belfast and faces 2 charges of murder. We'll have more throughout the programme.
It's another grey start for many of us this morning, but there are some places that will benefit from cloud breaks and beautiful sunshine. Details on where and when in the forecast coming up soon.
Just after 9 o'clock, a very good morning. Thanks for your company. With you until 9:30. I'm Eamonn Holmes.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Thanks for getting in touch today and having your say. What are folks saying?
Well, lots of you talking about giving blood because the NHS Blood Service is talking about when you apply for a driving licence when you're 17 years old or so, being asked to opt in to giving blood. They think it's a good way of making people sign up for that.
Because it's too complicated to do it otherwise.
And people aren't doing it. Half the people that give blood are over the age of 45. Lee says, I give blood. I've given blood for over 30 years. Just go on the website, put in your postcode, you can see your nearest place and you can get an appointment. It's done really easily.
Yeah.
You do it quite often, don't you?
Well, not quite often, but not as often as I should, but yes.
Marion says, please go out and give blood. I've given 105 pints since I started in the 80s.
And it all regenerates. It all...
Good for you as well, isn't it? You regenerate your blood.
Yeah, I think your body starts making new stuff and then your body appreciates new stuff.
It's good for everyone. Everyone's a winner. It doesn't hurt honest, says Marion. You'll be told where your blood goes and it makes you feel good. And Angela says, I'm with you, Eamonn. Public information films should be shown about lots of things.
Yes.
I remember one about following the country code and about litter.
Oh, litter, I just don't understand because, you know, people are stupid. Really stupid, and there's so many things they just don't do right. And throwing litter out of cars and vans,
horrible.
Particularly, it's just absolutely horrible. Keep it in your vehicle, bring it home, get rid of it there. But too much round our roads, on our roadside verges, poisoning animals, all sorts of things. Absolutely awful. But then plastic bags are awful that we put our bin rubbish in. And the foxes just rip them apart, and then the poor bin men and women have to go and pick that up and clean all that and whatever. Anyway, just my point. But you're right, there should be more public information films on TV telling us what to do and what not to do. What do you think? Have your say. 9:04.
And our top story this morning, has a new dawn broken over Gaza? Well, the last 20 surviving hostages were finally reunited with their families yesterday, ending 2 years in Hamas captivity.
And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity.
Now, one of the things we've been showing this morning are images, emotional images, of hostages reuniting with their families, including a woman who was reunited with her boyfriend, and theirs is a heck of a story after 2 years. Well, he was a Special Forces operative, and if Hamas had have known that, he wouldn't have been reunited. But could peace be short-lived this morning? Israel has demanded Hamas returns the bodies of all hostages by the end of today, which may be easier said than done. Charlie Peters is with us now. Charlie.
Well, there are growing fears, I think, in Israel that the peace deal they've signed, essentially forced into them by President Donald Trump, perhaps might not be the deal that they want. I mean, there is jubilation, of course, that the hostages are back, that the war is over, but the key, number one strategic goal for the Israelis throughout this 2-year process has been the destruction of Hamas and their removal from the Gaza Strip as a political and military force. And that absolutely has not happened. And that's been evidenced by them emerging, as it were, from the rubble, from the safe houses, from hospitals where they've been camouflaging themselves among the civilian population over the last 2 years in the subterranean war zone of tunnels that Gaza is. Now, in this new revival of Hamas, where they're able to be quite bold, we can show you some pictures now of Gaza where we're seeing so many people gather. Among them will be Hamas fighters who now feel as though they can walk freely again. And they're not just walking, they're also involved in serious violent disputes with other clans.
They're armed. You're saying they're armed?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if they're masked or not as well, but they're walking around as soldiers, as militia.
They're absolutely both, armed and masked. They've returned essentially to the normal posture they were at before the invasion started almost 2 years ago. Of course, the ground invasion didn't start for a couple of weeks, a few weeks after the start of hostilities on October the 7th, when that invasion of Israel was launched. But what we're seeing now is one of the key points of this peace plan, championed by President Trump, not being fulfilled, basically. That Hamas is able to once again demonstrate security as a controlling force in Gaza, and they are executing those who are seen as rivals to them, but also those who don't agree with their leadership.
But you see, yesterday the vibes being given out by Trump and Netanyahu is it's over. These guys are not in charge. They don't say what goes on. As a matter of fact, they're not going to have any role in the future. But they are.
But they have a role right now. And the question will be which force, which authority is able to enter Gaza and be part of that process of removing them. There were questions being asked yesterday. Could British forces be involved in a peacekeeping role? Could we have boots on the ground in Gaza? That's totally out of the question. There'll be...
Say that. Why is that? Because if anybody's going to volunteer them, Starmer will. If he's going to look to suck up on the international stage, he will volunteer our soldiers to be there.
I just think it's the sort of area where the British won't have the sort of hearts and minds effect that Starmer perhaps would hope that they could. Now, British forces are notoriously strong at peacekeeping roles. They're doing it in Cyprus as we speak, just quite close in the Eastern Mediterranean to Gaza. But it's a totally different situation. Of course, there's history there. Whereas in Gaza, if another force is to enter and maintain the peace and prevent the security vacuum from expanding that Hamas can fill, you'd expect it to be Arab powers. You'd expect perhaps the Qataris to facilitate maybe Saudi Arabian forces being involved. Maybe the Jordanians, of course, Jordan itself being a majority Palestinian population, which has had so much control and influence over the West Bank, of course, which it borders into Israel.
Now, it's fascinating we're talking about this because very shortly we'll be crossing live to Belfast, the Legacy Act and the role of what were British troops in a supposed peacekeeping role 50, 60 years ago in Northern Ireland and the consequences of that. So we're going to be touching upon that very shortly. Yeah. But, Charlie, you have got another big story this morning for something that I know upsets people listening to this, and that is the grooming gang situation.
Well, Eamonn and Ellie, it's 4 months today since Sir Keir Starmer told our very own Christopher Hope on a flight to Canada for the G7 that he would be launching a statutory national inquiry into the grooming gang scandal. And we have been very diligently tracking that process in those 4 months. A couple of weeks ago, we revealed that Oldham Council, one of the areas promised this inquiry back in January, had instead been offered a truth project as an alternative. What we can reveal today is that several survivors involved in the inquiry process have told GB News in the last couple of weeks, and we've been speaking to them consistently over the summer, of course, that they are very concerned that this inquiry could now be diluted or expanded to include exploitation beyond just grooming gangs, that there are some efforts being developed to push for this inquiry to grow so that it no longer covers the specific focus. Now, one survivor told me, and they've all spoken totally anonymously this time. Usually, some of these survivors have pseudonyms or different names they might use, but on this occasion, they're going for total anonymity. So concerned are they about possible criticism or blowback for sharing these concerns with GB News exclusively. But what they're saying is that they fear there's a risk of another ICSA, the Independent Inquiry into Child Sexual Abuse, that essentially it could be another inquiry that captures so many elements and not a specific focus. We have taken some testimony and some concern on the record from one man called David Greenwood, who is the head of compensation claims for child abuse at Switolski's. He's one of the country's top solicitors for this issue. He's represented hundreds of clients, particularly in Rotherham. He's based in Yorkshire, and he's told me that he fears as though this inquiry is being set up in a manner which won't be legally successful. It's a legal mess, he told me, because with a statutory inquiry, you have to go through an evidence-taking process to sift through and work out what you're going to do. Now, in January, the government, you'll remember, they said there'll be 5 local inquiries, and then in June, they announced a statutory inquiry. If those 5 local reviews had gone in January, they'd be gathering evidence now and getting ready to get started. But David Greenwood's telling me there's no evidence there. They're not sure the process they're going to go in. He thinks that could take an extremely long time. And Louise Casey said this inquiry should take 2 to 3 years. We're now hearing from David Greenwood it could take 5 years, and that this would add to further disquiet.
The question is, why, when this should be so simple, so straightforward, why are we not doing the right thing? And that right thing is to make sure these men who still practice this awfulness to this day are getting off with this?
I'm sure the Home Office would dispute this if I put this to them directly, but I think they bottled it in January. When they had those 5 inquiries that they announced, in April you'll remember that the Safeguarding Minister, Jess Phillips, said that locally led inquiries would become locally led work after feedback from local authorities, essentially revealing that some authorities had been asked to launch inquiries and they'd said no. If the state had been powerful and stern and very rigid on this issue in January, perhaps we'd be in a different place now, gathering evidence and ready to launch this statutory inquiry. Instead, they've got to appoint a chair, go through the very expensive process of taking evidence when there's just none there, at the same time as we're hearing from survivors that they worry it's being expanded.
I know while you're on the case, there'll be questions to answer, and you'll keep on the case, and thank you very much indeed for us.
More agony for those survivors and
Yes,
those
indeed.
women and girls. It's just never ending.
Well, the Home Office say that they're working very hard and they're hoping to set up this inquiry shortly, but those are the concerns we're hearing.
OK, Charlie, thank you, as always, for staying on top of this issue and bringing that to us. Thank you. Now, do stay with us. Still to come, the Northern Ireland Legacy Act is back in the news. We're going to find out why with Jiggy Beattie next.
25 years on from the signing of the Good Friday Agreement, the Secretary of State is in the Supreme Court. A Legacy Act about to appear in Westminster, and a soldier in the docks here in Belfast charged with 2 murders from 52 years ago. We'll have more right after the break.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's time for the Great British Giveaway now. Here are all of the details you need for a chance to make it yours.
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benimar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
There's a big trial going on in Belfast of a former paratrooper, and this will interest a lot of you. He's classified as Soldier F. He's not allowed to be named, and it's set to continue today. This is Belfast Crown Court. Let's go there live this morning. The defence setting out their case. Dougie Beattie there for us this morning. Now, Dougie, this comes as the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Hilary Benn, will introduce a framework for what's called the legacy bill in Parliament today, and this is a nightmare. This is, I mean, I think you can explain it much better than me, obviously, but this affects people in the UK. It affects people who've served in the forces at that time, and it basically hacks off almost everybody, no matter what your political persuasion is, in Northern Ireland. Does that about sum it up?
You've got it exactly right, Eamonn. This is a throwback to Tony Blair, Keir Starmer and Powell, strangely enough, 25 years on from the Good Friday Agreement. We all voted in the Good Friday Agreement, but there was secretive deals done behind backs on letters of comfort, pardons for the IRA, who at the end of the day created or caused 60% of the deaths in Northern Ireland, and they walk free because of those letters that were given to them, while British soldiers continue to appear in court. Widows and sons and daughters of policemen that were here have never had an answer because those IRA people cannot be taken to court because of those letters. And what we're seeing here today is the playing out of this. 52 years ago, Bloody Sunday happened. 4 soldiers were in the Glenfata Park area, and 3 of them opened fire. Now, what we do know through this trial that there was munitions in that area, weapons and nail bombs, etc. The soldiers have always said they were fired upon. When they fired back, of course, people were killed. And the judge here has allowed hearsay into the court, which is a very dangerous thing to do. And what has happened on that is that Soldier F is being taken by joint enterprise, that he was responsible for 2 of these murders because he fired that day. G is dead, and H has not appeared in this at all because he doesn't have to. Because under military law, when the soldiers were here in Northern Ireland, they didn't get cross-examined, they didn't get have to give witness statements, or under caution, they were never arrested. So what you're seeing here is military law trying to be put into civil courts. And this has cost billions of pounds in Northern Ireland over the last 25 years, amongst about 5 law firms. And really, Eamonn, this Legacy Act that Labour's trying to bring through is trying to put an end to it, but it will not protect these soldiers.
And will this Legacy Act go through, Dougie, do you think?
I think with the majority Labour has, it will go through, but it will only cause more lawfare in Northern Ireland. And even I've spent the last couple of weeks going around talking to widows and sons and daughters of serving officers, etc., and all they want is the truth. They already know these people are dead, that caused their father's death, but they just want the truth, and that's not going to come while those letters of comfort are in place.
Yeah, you just bring back so many memories there. I mean, you know, both you and I were children when this happened, and the terrible reaction there was to Bloody Sunday, and as you say, all these years waiting for the truth, waiting for someone to blame on all of this, and will it ever happen? A complicated legal case. Dougie, thanks for explaining it, and I know you will throughout the day here on GB News. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dougie. Now, Britain's Newsroom coming up at 9:30. Alex Armstrong and Miriam Cates are here to tell us all about it. Morning, you two.
Good morning.
What have you got for us?
What we're going to be hearing from Nigel Farage, of course, is he's going to be going live into that court hearing, the sentencing of Fayez Khan today. So we'll be hearing more from that.
We'll also be asking, should smacking be banned? That's what Michael Caine says. And we've got the case of a mosque that's organised a fun run, but women are not allowed. Does that breach equality law? We'll be asking that, all that after your weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you. It's a dull start for many of us, and that's the way it's likely to continue through the rest of the day, with high pressure in charge, but that high pressure trapping a lot of low cloud, even some drizzle and some mist. But it's not cloudy everywhere. There are some decent breaks for, say, parts of West Wales, the southwest, as well as central and western Scotland. In fact, that's where the lion's share of sunshine will be heading into the afternoon. The thickest cloud towards the east and the southeast, where there'll also be some drizzly showers from time to time. Temperatures under the thick cloud, 14 to 16 Celsius, but where we get some sunshine coming through, could get up to the high teens in places, for example, parts of western Scotland, although the north of Scotland subject to cloudier skies and some light showers from time to time, particularly for Shetland and Orkney. 11 Celsius as we end the day here. A lot of clear skies, though, remaining through the Highlands and to the Western Isles as well. Blue skies, beautiful afternoon and evening to come. But for much of the Midlands, the south and east of England, that's where the thickest cloud will remain. Some cloud breaks towards western fringes, and where we do get cloud breaks overnight, temperatures will fall into the mid or even low single figures, perhaps a touch of frost in places, even some mist and fog patches by dawn. But for many, we keep the cloud, and that cloud will continue to give some light showers, particularly through the North Sea coast and into the English Channel coast as we start off Wednesday. But Wednesday starts similar to Thursday, with a lot of low cloud around, that low cloud drifting somewhat aimlessly across the country. Some reasonable cloud breaks, some sunshine coming through in the south of England, south and west Wales and northern Scotland. But elsewhere, it's simply another cloudy day with temperatures a little bit lower compared with Tuesday, mid-teens for many of us.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Crash Law 24 sponsors GB News Traffic and Travel Report.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Traffic delays are notable today. In Sheffield, a collision on the M1 northbound at junction 34 causes 30-minute delays with lanes closed. Warwickshire drivers face heavy congestion on the M40 southbound between junction 16 and 12, resulting in 50-minute delays. Further disruptions occur in West Sussex on the A27 eastbound between the A3023 and A259 Chichester West, causing an hour-and-a-half delay until 10:15. And on the trains, disruptions affect Chiltern Railways between Aylesbury and Amersham and Greater Anglia services between Chelmsford and Shenfield. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.